Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Lisa's Leia on Evil Geniuses Twitch, sponsored by the amazing Elysian Brewing, the wonderful Space Dust IPA, which I am now manipulating Elysian for me to call this the gamer beer, and I am the gamer beer girl. So we are going to say this throughout the stream, every single stream now, until they hire me to be the official Space Dust girl. So hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Happy 9 months to me and my subscription to Evil Geniuses. We now have an Evil Genius baby, and I'll bring her out here in a little bit. But before we do that, I will do a quick introduction to the show. I'm sure everyone who is watching right now are from my streams. So I probably don't have to do this. But if you are from Tiny Stream or you're from EG and you haven't checked out the show before, this is basically my talk show that I have bi-weekly here. And I just hang out with all sorts of people in the gaming industry, whether they're creators, game developers, writers, voice actors. Maybe we'll have some actual video game characters on here one day. But we just hang out and I do a quick interview and then we talk about nerdy things, and it's a really good time. And it's a great way to get to know all the creators here at EG, and a great way to get to know all my friends that I've made in my adventures through the gaming industry. So yeah, and we have a wonderful local sponsor, the gamer beer, Space Us IPA, official gamer girl representing the gamer beer of this is the beer of gamers. I need you all to know that. I'm going to keep saying that over and over again. And no ASMR Jello stream. This is just ASMR gulping IPA stream. But now that we've done the introduction, let me bring out our awesome guest. This is not our evil genius baby. I just said that because I'm nervous and tired, but she is our newest creator at Evil Geniuses. She makes amazing keyboard caps. She is amazing on TikTok, Instagram. I love her content. Let's bring out Tiny Makes Things. Yay! Our new EG baby.
I'm the baby.
You are the baby.
I'm just a baby.
You're the little baby. Oh my God. Yeah, before I introduce, like, everyone needs to go follow Tiny immediately, because when Taylor told me that she was like gonna, we're gonna sponsor you and hire you, she was like, you're gonna love her stuff. And I saw it and I was like, oh my God, this is everything I've ever wanted in my entire life. And then I went to your little booth at TwitchCon and I was like, oh my God. I'm gonna be spending a lot of money. Do I get an employee discount? I shouldn't ask that, actually.
You get just like free stuff because I'm your mom.
Yeah,
because you're my mom.
I'm your work mom.
Yeah, you get the mom discount, which is
get the mom
free.
discount. Well, yeah. Before we start, let's do a little virtual cheers. Oop. To our wonderful sponsor. Thank you.
Cheers.
You know, it's much easier to get people to do the show when I say you get paid in beer. It's pretty nice.
It's probably a good selling point.
It is. It's like I never get paid to be on podcasts, but if I got free beer out of it, I'll take it. Real quick, I want to ask, like, I got to meet you in Seattle, which was, well, technically I met you at TwitchCon. I got to hang out with you for a bit in Seattle. How was your trip here?
It was a lot of fun. I actually go to Seattle, I try to go to Seattle a couple times a year. There's actually a big keyboard meetup. Big, I mean, in quotes. So keyboard meetups are these, well, they are exactly what they sound like.
I saw your video. This is a keyboard meetup. I was like, oh, all the keyboards come and hang out together.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
all their parents supervise.
Yeah, it's basically like that. It's like keyboard daycare. You leave your keyboards out and you go like talk to all the other keyboard owners.
It's like a dog park for keyboards. You just bring your keyboards, show them off, you get to know each other.
Yeah, it's like it's like a fun time, and you just literally talk about keyboards with people for like hours. And Seattle has just a big one that happens and they used to do it like twice a year or so. And so, I would head up just because it's like a 2-3 hour flight. And I like being able to visit like around the area. And then I also used to go to PAX, or I've been to PAX like a couple of times, PAX West.
Did you go to PAX this year?
No, I didn't. I think it was the same weekend as something else. There's like a lot of possibly. There's actually a keyboard meetup that they call KeyCon, and then when I tell people, they're like, it's a convention. And I feel like that just like people are like, they imagine this like giant thing. It's literally like it's like one room, it's like a big conference room sometimes, and sometimes it could be as small as like people meet up at like even I feel like at bars and at like coffee shops, and we kind of like I've seen different community members work with different companies to do stuff. We've had like a pub crawl that was like keyboard themed, where you go to different pubs and you pick up
Can
like
I
different
go
parts.
as a spectator?
You can. Yeah, no, I mean, you can participate too. Like, we go and collect parts, and then at the very last one, you like build a smooth, it's a tiny keyboard, but it's not like a full on keyboard. But like along the way, you just pick up, you get beer or whatever your choice of drink, and then you go and you build this, like you get the parts and then you build it at the very end. And it was a lot of fun. Like, we like walked around and stuff. That hadn't happened in a while, but yeah, anyway, sorry. I was talking about Seattle. Seattle's a lot of fun.
No, that's awesome. No, I was actually going to ask, like, I wonder why Seattle is like the chosen place for that. Is it just because like this is like nerd city and
It's
then
a good,
everyone has a keyboard,
I
computer
think
city? Like,
I'm I'm not sure. I mean, it happens, like keyboard meetups happen everywhere, but Seattle just happens to have one of the big ones. I think particularly because there's like the group of people that like put it on, like officially, I think they're like a nonprofit organization, or they like kind of became official. A lot of the other meetups are usually just like one person like running it. It's very like local community based. So they like made it more official. And then at one year they had it at the university there. I don't know which university it was.
University of Washington?
Maybe it was close. I mean, it was close and like not far away from where it used to be, which was like at the Computer History Museum, I think, in Seattle.
Interesting.
So yeah, like they held it it was like in one of the on campus, and like in one of the bigger, like, I don't know, like conference or some sort of like convention rooms. And then they actually offered like you could stay in the dorm rooms. Instead of like paying for a hotel, they had a deal like that.
College keycap meetup. Here we go. Wait,
yeah. So yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, it's officially organized by this group. So maybe that makes it a little bit bigger because it's more like official, and maybe they can get like bigger sponsors because they're maybe more organized in that way.
I love all the keyboard emotes being added to the chat right now. They're just saying, wait, so is it all people like you that make keycaps?
No. It's just like people in the hobby. I would say like sometimes there are, I would say a couple of us.
Like collectors and stuff?
Yeah. So a lot of like just hobbyists, like people who just built their own keyboard, or like who likes to collect keycaps. I would say just only a smaller handful of people are actually like creators in the space, like either artists or they do keyboard content. There's like keyboard streamers, keyboard like YouTubers that go
ASMR.
Yeah, they make those like really nice videos where they're typed for like 2 hours.
I love hearing people type on. It's so funny because I type on stream and I like feel bad for people because I'm like silent, but I love hearing people type when I'm streaming. I like when I watch people stream, like, oh sorry, I have to write something. I'm like, oh, I love that stuff.
Yeah, I hate using loud keyboard because I don't want to like disturb people when I feel like I use Discord to like, like play games and stuff, and I hate having like a loud clacky boards for other people, but for me, I like to hear it myself. So like
I'm like at that cat gif or I'm just like
you're like smashing.
Yeah. Crazier said, is it a really a really expensive hobby to get into though, as far as like collecting keycaps and stuff?
It can get expensive, but I really feel like it just depends on how much you want to like invest and put money into it. Like if you just wanted to build one keyboard and be done with it.
I got this off Amazon for like $10 and I hate it. So I definitely need something way better.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Hit me up. I will help you customize something. Yeah, I think like price range you're looking for is like 200 to like, I mean, in the hundreds. If you want to get something really nice, like all the parts put together, but like it lasts you for a long time because some of these like keyboards are like made out of metal, and then the keycap material is really nice, so it doesn't like the letters don't peel off or like get grubby as easily as some other kind of like default boards. So I feel like it's an investment. You spend like $200 and they last you a couple years. Like it's not that expensive over time, but it can get really expensive. Yeah, like some of the cheap ones like you use for a little bit and it's like it just get greasy, like literally, like not even if you don't eat hot Cheetos or whatever, like just your finger, like just your natural finger oils.
It's more like cat hair, but yes, like well also the when I bought it, like the lights were like so pretty, and since it's a cheap keyboard, like the lights like barely glow.
Yeah.
Like the cheapest LED lights possible. No, that's definitely something I want to invest in. Like, cause I oh my god, I did so much of your TikTok watching today. Cause I've seen stuff you post on Twitter, but only in like the last like 6 months. I like deep dive into all of your stuff, and I was watching you make it. So like when you make yours, are you always using the same material?
Not always. There's like 2 main materials that I use, and that's a lot of the ones I post on TikTok because I think it's more visually appealing to see, like, sculpting. So that's like
Oh yeah, like
clay.
the resin stuff that people do.
Yeah, yeah. So like that's like malleable, so I can kind of like work with it with my hands, and that's like I'm sculpting clay onto like an existing keycap like base. It's just blank, and then I sculpt onto that, and I bake the whole thing, and then like it hardens like with the heat. And then the other way that is, I feel like just less exciting to look at because it's like resin casting. So this is like I'll make a mold
That's like
of
my favorite thing to watch.
like I'll make a mold of it, and then I'll like mix in resin and pour it into the mold. But that one, like I feel like it's like mixing and pouring, so it's not as exciting as like adding pieces on. I don't know. Like I feel like most of my stuff is probably geared towards like the visual part of stuff, which is like, yeah, like me creating something, and it's less, and I think it looks less cool when it's just like, oh, I poured things together and it like here it is.
Your
So yeah.
editing though, your editing is amazing because like one thing I really hated about we were talking about Instagram and Twitter or TikTok earlier. One thing I don't like about Instagram is how it pushes reels because
Mhm.
I used to watch a lot of DIY DIY stuff
Yeah.
and I hated like having to wait till the end of a video to see the finished product. I'm like, I
Mhm,
just need
mhm.
a picture by picture. I need to see what the fuck you did. Like I
Yeah.
don't want to click on it and have to watch for but your editing is so good and it's like and it's so like you're so detail oriented in everything that
Mhm.
you do, which I really love. It probably helps like that your name is like tiny because you're like tiny little it's so
Yeah.
satisfying to watch. But like no, I really love it because it's also something like I'm not used to like seeing cuz normally like I love watching people do like the resin stuff and they usually make like ashtrays and like
Mhm,
random
mhm.
things. But like watching you make keycaps, oh my god, it's so cool. Like I have so many questions. And like I'm like I cuz it's like
Yeah.
I've never met anyone who does what you do.
Mhm. I mean,
And
it's very specific, but I think it's also like resin casting in general. I mean, you talked about like ashtrays, or like
yeah.
people make like little discs, or like even bigger things like tables. And like I've seen people pour like surfboard things and create like charcuterie board or cutting boards for like their kitchen, and it has like resin in it. And I think that looks. I feel like because you can pour really big, like you get like buckets of resin, and you get to pour it and mix it, and you can see the cool pattern. But like with such a small, like when it's keycap, it's literally like sometimes it's me poking like areas with a
Just like
needle with like one
little
drop.
tiny.
Yeah, it's like it's not that exciting. So I'm like, it's not that cool. But yeah, I mean, I would love to maybe come back to for a future thing. I don't know how the setup would work, but one, if you're ever in the Bay, you can come and hit me up, and we can make keycaps in my garage, or we can set up something, and then I can teach everyone how to make keycaps,
I'm
and we can all
guarantee
yeah.
EG's gonna have you fly up here and teach us in
Yeah, I feel
class.
like
Like you're like, "Oh, you're like, actually, you're just gonna teach us. We just wanna watch what you do live, really, is what we're doing." Wow, that's so cool. I mean, I've
Yeah.
always wanna know because 'cause I've seen you make, like I know, like, your Kirby one is, like, your
Mhm.
signature, like, your Kirby keyboard, and I watch people being like, "I wanna see you try to type with that." I'm like, "Bitch, it is a hobby." Like, whether you type with it or not, it's like, who else is like, find a flaw in anything. I
Yeah.
hate how people are on TikTok. But I do
Mhm,
notice,
mhm.
like, you did a lot of things, like, I watched that VTuber reaction to your, like, food one, too. Like,
Yeah.
what is, like, the most ridiculous one you've had, like, made or commissioned from you?
Like keycap?
Yeah. 'Cause I know you do a lot of yeah, I see you do, like, a lot of cool, like, branded stuff too. I was just like, "Oh my god, look at you, man. You have monopolized this whole market." Like, you're
I
like
think, I'm lucky to be in a position where I have, like, a lot of exposure because of TikTok and stuff like that, so people, like, kind of they default to me because I feel like I maybe started out doing stuff like this, but there's actually a lot of people who make keycaps in general. But yeah, I'm just very blessed to be where I am. Just being yeah, like, being on TikTok early on and stuff like that. So
to think for people also are really craving different types of content because
mhm,
like there is like
mhm,
a stereotypical like TikTok kind of personality and like
mhm.
type of things. But like me, I always like watching crafting or cats. I never get bored of cats. But
Yeah,
like crafting stuff
love
I'm really
cats.
into. Like I have a friend that makes plushies for a living. Like
Mhm.
I have friends that obviously like do art and stuff. And like that's the stuff I like to watch because I'm like, this is so different. So
Yeah,
yeah, like that's
same.
like, how did you what made you want that to be I'm assuming that you did other crafting before this, like, you weren't just, like, woke up one day and you're like, "I think I'm gonna make
Mm.
keycaps." Unless you did, then that's amazing. Like
Like, not specifically like that, but I didn't do any sort of, like, training or professional training in art. Like, I studied computer science, and I was, like, a software engineer.
like, "These
Um
keycaps need an upgrade. I'm gonna yassify them." Like
Kind Yeah, I mean, I don't wanna take like, I don't wanna take credit for, like, the idea of, like, keycap making because in general, that was already a thing that
Yeah.
existed. It just wasn't, like, the hobby was a lot smaller back then, and there were, like, a handful of people who actually made keycaps, maybe, like, I would say, like, 30 or something. Like, you knew all of the people who made keycaps, like, everyone we we just knew, like, there was only so
The key
many of
I
them.
love this whole keycap community thing I'm learning right
It's,
now.
like, so interesting. Yeah, so
I
it
can't
started
wait to
out a
hear
lot
about
smaller.
keycap drama one day. You gotta
There
have a
is so much
keycap.
keycap drama, oh my god, it's kinda crazy. It's just I think any sort of community always has, like, drama when you have people who, like, do this sort of stuff for a living, and
I'm
it's
in
like
stand-up, we thrive on drama, but, like,
yeah.
keycap drama to me is just, like, I wanna be in that group chat as, like, a silent member.
So, there's just so much. I think people have made videos on the drama that's in the keyboard community, and that's just kinda crazy to me. Sorry, your question was? What?
I forgot.
Um
That's how this show goes. I asked you a question 15 minutes ago, and we just
Yeah,
don't
I think
address
we
it, and then we
we
just keep
never
talking. That's literally how the show goes. No, I was asking, like, because 'cause I've seen you do, like, branded stuff. Like, I saw you make, you made, like, the Call of Duty one, you did the
Uh-huh,
Forza
uh-huh.
I literally watched, I think, all of your TikToks today. Um, but I was gonna ask, like, you do get a lot of commissions. I see, like, your most of your commissions are a lot more like I guess more I don't wanna say the word basic 'cause I feel like that's bad,
Yeah.
but, like, more like basics, but, like, have you had a lot of ridiculous commissions, though?
I just, like, don't take them, I think, if they're ridiculous. I think, like, I haven't opened up for commissions in a very long time, as in, like, maybe, like, 2 years or something. I started off doing commissions, and they're a lot of fun, but they're also, like, a lot of work,
Yeah.
and, like, for the time that I spent on a commission, it's, like, almost certainly not worth it in terms of, like, I could spend that same amount of time and make normal keycaps, like, make a bunch with the molds that I already have, and it would be I would make a lot more money. Like, it's just and I don't say that to be like, "Oh my god, I'm making so much money." It's just like a
I mean,
comparison
it's
for,
your
like, the
time.
time.
It's your time is very sensitive as a
Yeah.
creator, so it's like you have to like, as much as you're like, "Yeah, I'll make 1,000 hot dog keys," you're like, it's not I don't have time for anything else."
Yeah, so it's not like yeah, so I think I get to be picky about, like, what I choose, so I have gotten requests that are none of them are, like, insane, some of them are just, like, kind of I don't know if people just don't think about, like, what would go well as a keycap or they don't think through it, or maybe they don't care and they just wanted like, someone was like I think it was a while ago, they just wanted a Christmas tree, like, straight out of the keycap, like, just on top of it, I
Is it
guess,
even
and I was
a
like
keycap, or is this just something I'm molding onto your
yeah, like,
keyboard?
I was like, "You could probably just glue literally just, like, super glue a tiny miniature tree on top of your
Just
keycap,
claim
and it
that
would
I
be
did
much"
it.
yeah, it'd be so much cheaper and easier than me literally, like, crafting it out of, like, resin or clay. But then it would also literally just stick out of the keycap, like, so tall. I know, like, sometimes I make videos where I have things, like, sticking out. Most of what I make, I feel like is, like, kind of for fun and, like, jokes and, like, silly and, like, for kinda just like yeah, like, I don't know if anyone's actually using any of the key no, I'm certainly not using those keycaps,
Love
I just make
watching
them.
I love your Kirby ones where you keep adding different foods into his mouth,
Yeah,
like, that's
like,
like
sometimes the food just, like, sticks straight out of his mouth, and I'm like, "Yeah, there's no way no one's like,
and then
someone's
the
actually
person
using
who's
that."
typing's like, "Are you getting any work done?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm feeding him a hot dog right now." I haven't typed anything yet, but Kirby is well fed.
But yeah, it's like those things, like, just people ask for a lot actually, a lot of people ask for anime-related things, and it's not that it's impossible to do, it's just, like, the art style of anime is very it's like line art, right? It's, like, just a lot of, like, lines, small thin lines, and very, like, detailed in terms of that, like,
You're like,
a
"My
lot of
hands are tiny, but not
yeah.
that tiny."
I'm
Yeah.
like, it's so hard to make lines out of, like, clay, like, that small, and I mean, I'm sure I have seen some people do it, and, like, it's doable, it's just hard, and it just doesn't fit my style like, I do a lot of, like, more, like, blobby shapes and, like, yeah, cartoony,
Like,
like and I know
Kirby
it's a
is
cartoon, but yeah.
such a simple shape that it's,
Mhm,
like,
mhm,
recognizable, and it's, like, it's a pink ball with very distinct black eyes, like, everyone knows exactly what it is.
mhm.
That's crazy, yeah, I've always thought, like, what I would get, I would probably have you, like, make I'll bring this out. This is my character on my stream. This is a pillow. It's my son. This is this is
Is
my
that a
banana.
banana?
It is a banana. He has
Wait, I have a
eyebrows.
huge banana too. But
I I say that I rescued him from a store in Kyoto in 2016. He's my rescue son.
oh,
But I like used to put him in my chair every time. Well, I still do. I put him in my chair when I go on breaks on stream, and now my cats just jump in now. And so I like made him as like an emote on my stream. So I was watching your videos. I'm like, I wonder if I should have her like do like a little banana, like a just a yellow one with that face. Oh my
yeah.
god, I probably will actually have you do that one day. Now that I think about it. I was gonna say too, because so you said you do like the resin molds, but do you ever do like the metal ones too, or is it just easier for you to just do like the clay and the resin?
I
I'm
think
so
metal.
fascinated by all of this. Like I
No,
have
don't worry about it. It's like a kind of a like yeah, if you don't know, then you like are kind of it's just a big like black box of like what actually goes on. I don't do
there's
any
the banana
metalworking.
emote in the chat.
It's so cute. There's no like I think you would need like an actual like metal casting is a little bit harder and I think it requires more like proper equipment. Especially if it's like I don't know if it's like actually melted metal that goes into making those metal keycaps. I actually have no idea. Some of them are CNC'd by like actual machines, and those are like like couple $1,000 machines, or maybe even more, like tens of thousands that CNC like designs for like metal keycaps. And then there's a method called like cold casting, which you like use metal powder, so it's not like metal liquid, but you add the powder to your resin and enough of it actually creates this like kind of metallic looking and it feels heavier than a normal like resin keycap. So I've done some of that, but that's also still even like not dangerous, but like
Like
if you
feeling
don't want to
like
breathe in the
keycaps
metal.
to figure out like what kind of material it's made out of. I mean, like the cheap keyboards, I don't even know.
Those are probably like ABS plastic, which is like they just inject into like a giant mold.
Every time I type, I get a new disease. Like it's just the cheapest shit made out there. Oh my god, that's too funny. Well, I
Yeah.
see that you do a lot of collabs. Like, do you have like a dream collab that you've ever like? There's gotta be one that you're like, one day I would need this company to like be like, hey, we want you to make a keyboard cap for us, or a
I
video or a TikTok.
I feel like some of the ones that I really like would want to do, I don't know if they would ever be in the keyboard space. They're not like games or anything, but they're like TV shows, like cartoons. Like Adventure Time is one of my favorite cartoons, and if they ever did like keycaps, so like they wouldn't. I mean, maybe for a promotion or something, they might, but I can't imagine. I think they would just print their own keycaps. Like they wouldn't ask me to do it.
Like,
But
bitch, ask me. Support
like
the
I
small
love
farmers.
Adventure Time and like Steven Universe, like kind of like just cartoons that are along those lines, like similar genre. I mean,
And they all have
obviously, if
like pretty like basic designs too. It's not like
Mhm.
anime where it's like intense.
Exactly, it's
Yeah.
like literally a cartoon. So you're like, okay, yeah, this eyes are literal dots. So
Yeah.
I would love that, but that's like yeah, that's more of they're not even in this space, so they're like kind of, but I guess not really. They're like in the pop culture kind of like nerdy space, but yeah.
When you stream like the tiny when you stream tiny, when you stream and do keycaps, do you do any other things too while you stream? Like do you play games or do you
Not really. I just straight up, yeah, I just do keyboard stuff pretty much, and we just like talk. Like sometimes I
that's
just don't actually get anything done, and I'm sure you probably have some. I don't know if you just like
I
talk,
just I
talk.
I
you just-
have an addiction to video games. So people are like, "Oh my god, you
yeah.
stream so much." I'm like, "I have a mental illness. Like I can't stop playing video games. You guys just think I work hard, but really this is an excuse to play more games." That's
It's
literally it.
great. I mean, that's like great that you can enjoy playing video games and also be like technically like working at the same time. Yeah, I play games, but pretty much off stream, just not. I don't usually stream them, and when I do, I feel like I'm not very good at it because I just want to like if I'm playing like Apex, and that's a game I actually play, but like I don't have time to like look at the chat because I'm like fighting people, like I don't know how people do it. I'm like so
Exactly why I
distracted.
can't do multiplayer games. I'm like, I need to
Yeah,
be able to like breathe
yeah,
between
and like take
matches.
pauses. Yeah, it's hard when you're like everything's going so fast, and yeah, I think that's only I play like some random games, like their Kirby game that came out, Forgotten
I want to
Kirby
play
and
it
the
so
Forgotten Land
bad.
or something is super cute, and I did play that on stream, but I probably only play certain games, or if I'm playing games with the community, then I would stream it. But otherwise, I feel like most of my content is still just like keyboard building or keycap making, and it's like just kind of just the actual like my hands and the keyboards and the stuff, and it's not
I
much,
bet
not
that's
as much.
like, oh, I loved your little evil genius one because it
Mhm.
was like it was oh god, I love your editing, but I love like the I just love the ASMR. Like
Yeah,
that's really it. It's just
the
like I
sounds.
don't like ASMR like the stuff where people eat pickles and mics and shit, but I like the stuff where like people are like typing and doing things with their hands. Like, I don't wanna
Same.
watch
I
somebody
cannot the
eat
feed.
and
Yeah.
breathe and whisper, like, that's weird to me, but I will definitely watch you, like, type and, like, put things and I was like, "Oh my god, that'd be so cool to watch." Is Kirby, like, your
Yeah.
favorite character? Or is that just,
Um,
like, one you kinda just branded for your keyboard stuff?
it's like one of those things where like you kind of like this thing and you maybe express that you like it, and then people start buying you gifts of that thing, and then everyone sees that you have some of those things, so they think that you like that, and then they buy you more of that thing, and then now that thing has become like your persona. So I feel like that kind of happened. Not that I don't like Kirby, I love Kirby, but like I made it as a keycap, and then I think it only started getting kind of like tied to me because I made videos about like it was just like a lot. It was like I did all this stuff with Kirby as the keycap because it was just easy to do and it kind of made sense. Like throwing things into Kirby's mouth and like making Kirby eat things. Like I don't.
You did it in a great way too, where your finger, like, fits into his mouth.
Yeah, like it just makes sense. So like it kind of made sense for the content, and so I just started doing Kirby stuff. But then I know that like yeah, it's like now it's kind of people know that board because like they like, oh
One of
yeah,
my
I've seen that.
one of my favorite TikToks you had, because I'm such a huge fan, like, I've been
Mhm.
watching it for a day. Like, I I just never I always forget to follow people on TikTok. That's,
Yeah,
like, my
no, it's
big
cool.
thing, but I
Don't.
watched it today, and one of my favorite one was when someone was like, "How do you type if you don't have the letters on it?" And you were
Yeah,
so sweet to explain, like, the one thing we learned in elementary school is that learn how to type without looking at the keyboard, and you're
yeah.
so nice. You're like, it's called, muscle memory where you just don't look at the key I was like, "Oh my god, you are too nice."
It's because I actually made another video a while. So that question comes up literally all the time on any keyboard that has like no letters. Either it's blank or it's like all artisans, or all like it's all Kirby's or whatever. And that just literally multiples of those questions. And I'm just like, I don't like for me, it's like, do people just literally stare at their keyboard like while they're typing? Like, I don't understand like them not understanding that like you're able to type without looking at it. And so I think one time it's probably a lot further down, but it was like
A lot further down, I probably
uh,
watched it.
and I was like, do you guys like look at your keyboard while you type? And I just kind of like I was kind of just I wasn't like actually angry, but it was kind of like a like hello kind of moment.
Yeah,
And
like,
then some people got mad at me for that. They were like, wow, so not the vibes. Like I'm like, I'm
well,
literally
yes. Like, there's some people who legitimately need to like, I'm like that. Like, I am not I'm a fast typer, but I make a
yeah.
lot of mistakes and I have to look down. Like, I don't think I'd be able to have a full keyboard but I'm not gonna attack people who can. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like
Like I just don't understand. Like, I know that a lot of people don't like need to look down, like either often or all the time. I guess not all the time, or
No.
you literally have to look up to like see what you've typed. But
Biggest thing ever has a good point. He says, "A friend of mine working school district told me a lot of teens nowadays don't know how to type at all because so much is done on touchpads."
yes, so that's the thing that we talked about it like
Wow.
before, like on my stream, because I was like, I'm just confused why people are confused in the first place. And so it's like
You're not,
we
you're just
grew up like
mean.
typing tests, and like we learned it in school sometimes. Like you would have to do
We had
like
kid
the
tips.
tests and like you would take a class on it, or we grew up on like like AIM and like instant messaging on our computers because we didn't have phones back then. So now all the kids are just like they grew up typing on their phone maybe, and maybe it's not as much of a
It's so much satisfying to type on a keyboard than it is on a phone.
yeah. Yeah,
I hate phone typing. I use speech to text 99% of the time.
really. i
Uh-huh. I
i
do
just do the
not
swipe. I like the swiping one where you like
nope, I yell into my phone. I'd be like, "I can't believe, period, you're such a dick, period." It's just like I had add every single comma into there. Like,
Exclamation point.
exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. What are you talking about? Question mark, exclamation point. Like, that's me every single day. Like, I do not like typing on my phone. I am very much like, I like doing, like, that was the whole reason why I became a writer. Like,
Yeah.
which is funny because
Wait, so you didn't have to write?
I had somebody, well, yeah, someone asked me recently, they were like, "Did you read a lot of books when you were a kid or like in high school?" I was like, "No." Like I was terrible in school. I was bare minimum. Like I'm not going to do any of the I was a wanna-be rebellious child but without the rebellious like attitude and look. I was just like a little snotty kid. But I didn't read a lot of books growing up, but I love writing. Like I've been a writer for years and like
Mhm,
I do like script writing, blah blah. I get really excited when people give me something to write because I love
mhm.
writing. Everyone's like, that's really interesting that you're so articulate for someone who didn't like read a lot. And I was like, yeah, because I used to be obsessed with typing on my keyboard. Like
Mhm.
like I would just like I just love like that was
Yeah.
me all the time. And then I was like, maybe I should write something that makes sense, you know? Like
Mhm, mhm.
but yeah, that is crazy to think about. God, I keep forgetting how old I am sometimes. Like I'll be 33 next week and I'm like, I forgot there's a whole generation of people who didn't have kid pics and like old like giant PCs that weighed like 30 pounds, you know, like
Or like floppy disks, like having to swap them out when you like
or
were writing,
CDs.
because you like don't have enough memory on one of them, and one of them had like 512 like megabytes or something, something so small that today we're like, well, that can't even hold anything. Like, or like having multiple CDs for the games where you have to like part one, part two, part three, or whatever. Or playing like just I feel like kids have it so easy these days. They literally everyone
We're
has a
such
mini
boomers.
computer. Yeah.
God, kids have it so easy. Well, one of my favorite
Darn
there's a
kids.
video I watched a long time ago where it was like kids play like kids like 5-year-olds try to figure out what a Game Boy is and they're like
Mhm.
looking at it and one person was like, "Is there internet on this? Why can't I see anything?" I was like, "Oh, bless your heart, you sweet summer child." Like when I went to get a micro USD or micro SD card for my Switch. Rest in peace, my Switch. I'll get a new one soon. I was like, oh, it's gonna be like $200 to get like a 500
Yeah.
megabyte thing. It's like $5
No.
now. I was like, what? I remember
Yeah.
when like an 8 GB SD card was like $60. Like
Yeah. It
now
was
they're just made.
expensive.
Now you go to the dollar store and get one. Like
Yeah.
it is so crazy to me. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just wild to see how much like all this stuff has grown over the years. It's the same thing with like I had a few weeks ago. I don't know if you know who Brian Altano is. He's a host at IGN. I don't know. He's been in like the gaming content part forever. Like he was like I started doing stuff before Justin TV even existed. I'm like that's
That's
crazy to
old.
me. I still think like I'm still getting used to like Twitch stuff because I started streaming uh, a couple years ago. Was it a couple years ago? What year is it? 2020. Yeah.
2022.
So I literally started streaming the year when the month we went into quarantine in 2020. And I
Mhm,
was
like
like,
March or something.
yeah, and I was like, well, I can't do stand up, so I have to do something. So I started streaming and I was like, I don't and till this day I still have friends like my age that are like they have no idea what Twitch is and I have to
Mhm,
like
mhm.
constantly explain it. And they're like, "So wait, like people watch you play video games?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's really fun. You should try it sometime, you know? Like you're lucky you get to do it at my house without ads. So you should feel
You
blessed to be my friend, you know?" Like
you
I
get the
couldn't
in-person experience, the real life, physical, like, they get to see you in person doing that, and
yeah,
everyone else
right.
gets the virtual
Just
experience.
kidding, I don't have any gaming friends in real life, actually. I have one friend, actually, it's really funny, and I keep this up on my stream. My best, like, none of my friends were ever really into anime and video games.
Mhm.
Like, I always was kind of like they would introduce me to their guy friends, my girlfriends would be like, "This is my friend Lisa, she loves video games." Like, they would be like, "This is our friend that you should talk to." And one of my friends, she's never played a video game in her life, and there's people who in my chat know what I'm talking about, but she got really obsessed with Stray, that cat game,
Mhm,
because she
mhm.
loves cats, and she was like, "Well, I want to play other games now." And I was like, "Oh no, I've created a monster." So I got her. Did you ever play Stardew Valley?
Yes.
I got her
I
into
have not, yeah.
I
Is
got
she,
her
like, really
into
into
it.
it?
She's she started in September, maybe? No, no, no.
Mhm.
I don't know when Stray came out. Probably August. She started in
Uh-huh.
August. She's already in her 5th year
Oh
in
my gosh.
Stardew. I was like, "Jesus Christ." And I
Has
went
she
over
played
there
Animal Crossing?
I don't want to give it to her. And I'm like, I'll lose her as a friend.
Oh.
I went over there yesterday because she was like, I need help with this game. I'm 5 years in. I like don't know what I'm doing. I went over there yesterday because bless her heart, she's never played a video game. She didn't know you could pause.
She like had to like.
I went over there and she's like, hold on. I got like 10 minutes left till I have to go to bed in this game. And I was like, just pause it. And she goes, what? I was like, just pause the game. She goes, I can pause the game. I was like, yeah. And
Oh
she's like,
yeah.
she's like,
You
Lisa,
poor soul.
I almost missed meetings from this. Okay. I had canceled plans because of this game. I was like, oh no.
That is like
Oh,
so precious, actually.
and I was trying so hard not to laugh because I was like, oh, I feel like this is my fault. Actually, I didn't tell you this. And I had to like teach her like so much about the game. I was like, you can move farm buildings. She's like, you can move farm buildings? You can do this? You can build this? I was like, oh my God. She's like, I need to start over. I was like, no, just stop playing the game. Just move on to something else. Like, so good times. And now she was like, so have you streamed playing this game before? I'm like, don't tell me you're gonna become a streamer now. Please. I mean, go ahead, be a streamer, but I am not responsible for how your chat will treat you.
Yeah.
Like, I can't supervise you anymore at that
Oh
point.
my gosh. That's so like I can imagine that happening to, I guess, any of my friends who have not grown up playing video games, and like just they're literal like gamer babies who just, how like babies don't know how to do anything, like they don't know how to burp. You have to like burp them and they don't know how to sit up because they're literally, it's so odd to me, like you have to teach a baby how to like sit or else they're just like
They have no
wobbly.
knees. Like they're just no limbs.
Yeah,
that babies had no elbows and knees.
they don't.
They're just cartilage. So I'm like, oh, like they don't develop knees forever. And so the whole time my niece was born, I was just playing with her like cartilage. So, like, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that. It's like, oh shit, I gotta walk you through everything.
Yeah, like they just
I
don't. It's not a
threw
sense
this
thing.
massive world, and she's like, I've just been making money off pickles and jelly for like 3 years. I was like, oh my God. Stardew was made by one guy. And fun fact about that one guy, he went to high school in my hometown. Like he went to the same high school and made the whole entire game while he was going to UW. And for me to sell the game to her, I was like, it's a farming game, blah, blah, blah. She's like, that's cool, that's cool. And I was like, it was made by a really hot guy. And she's like, oh my God, I have to play it. Like, I was like, I knew how to sell this game to you. And it's an amazing game. So, anyways, cute story.
I don't even know I know what he looks like.
He's just a cute
Cute.
man that created a game and made so much money off it because he
Yeah.
did literally everything.
Everything. Yeah.
And then I was reading too because I got really obsessed with the game and I was like, oh, there's so much inspiration taken from like literally my hometown.
Mm.
Like, oh, this makes so much sense now. There's very big Northwestern vibes, obviously, with like the polyamorous relationships. Like that's just, I was like, this is made by someone in Seattle. I can tell immediately. I was gonna ask though, because you did say that you had a lot of you obviously have your keyboard the real world for keyboard creators or whatever. Do you have a lot of friends that do like similar crafts or anything, or 'cause I'm really curious where you drew the inspiration for this, because it's such like a very specific it's very specific hobby.
Yeah. I mean, like I learned from other people who had done it before me, but there was just not, I think I was part of the story that I never got to because I don't remember what we ended up talking about. But there were people, yeah. The people who were making keycaps before I started making keycaps, like, and there were a lot, not a lot, but just like at least like many handful. And it was like I just felt like there weren't enough like cute stuff, and that's why I ended up making keycaps, because I was like, I want to see more cute stuff on my keyboard. Yeah, I just give me all that cute shit. Yeah,
I need some cute shit.
Yeah, there were literally things like, and I have nothing against these things, they are cool, but they're very like, I would say, more masculine kind of like icons, like robots and zombies and monsters, and
my whole apartment is like cute shit, and then it's like, here's all my black gaming stuff.
Yeah, I hate that.
God forbid men have anything with light and color on it.
Yeah, come on, we need some more white peripherals. Yeah, so I just like I was like, cute stuff I will make myself. So I just started making it, and decided to do that. And so, I mean, I learned from the people who I kind of like used to, I guess I still collect some of their stuff. They're now like just other like other artisans. I've met a lot of them at meetups. We've like hung out, but I don't like regularly talk to a lot of them, but we all know kind of each other, or we know a lot of like the people within our circles or people who maybe even live locally. And I think there's a lot of like, I mean, there's a lot of like keyboard Discord specifically for like keycap collection. Like people just really like collecting this stuff,
True.
like not even putting it on your keyboard, just
Just
putting it in a box, like literal display
like
cases.
having little I would collect like
Yeah.
cute shit. Why not?
Yeah, it's
Like,
just like cute stuff, and you could put it on your keyboard if you wanted to, but some people just literally just put it in a box, and the box is like a display case, so you just put it on your desk and you can see all of them, but you don't have to even actually use them as keycaps. So, yeah, I mean the community is big, and I have a lot of like I feel like I don't want to feel like I say like I have a lot of friends because I feel like I'm kind of actually socially like I just
we
keep to
all.
myself a lot. Like
We all.
I like do my work and I love seeing people at meetups. And then we talk when we're there and then that's about it. Like I don't
Well, now you have a new
not yeah.
mom. That works.
Great.
And
Yes, we
everyone's
can
emotional support coworker. I don't know if you
uh,
knew that. I've realized that recently. Maybe you'll
yes.
have to work with Lisa. Okay, well, we will do it. There you
I love that for you. But that's yeah, like I feel like I do, I'll talk to people like here and there, but I don't normally like I'm not all the time talking to people. It's just I don't think I can
I
do
feel
that.
like the pandemic really thrived for people like us.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm,
I feel bad because, like, yes, like, the pandemic was hard for a lot of people, and it was really hard for me because I couldn't do stand-up, and it
mhm.
was, like, right when I got to the point of doing stand-up comedy where I was like, "I think I'm good at this now," and then everything was shut down. I was like,
Aw.
"Okay, I guess I'm not." And then I was like, "Well, I should just start streaming." I bought, like, all the PC setup and everything, and then, like, I really was like, "This is my life now," and
Mhm.
now that everything's coming back, I'm like, "This is overwhelming. I have to, like, go socialize again," and I just
Yeah, you
I'm
can't
so
make
used
excuses.
That's why getting older is great because, like, as you get older, you feel less bad about leaving
Mm.
the house.
That's true, it's true. Like, and you don't even have to, like, make it you're just like, "Ah, I don't feel like going out." Like, I'm socially drained, and people are like, "Okay, yeah, I understand."
Right? Like, I
Like,
feel
yeah,
bad
don't
for
feel
high school
pressure.
like, I feel bad for high school kids and, like, children that, like, didn't get to, like, go and, like, be social, like, during the
Yeah.
pandemic. I really do.
Mhm.
But then, like, me, like, being in my 30s, I'm like, "Great."
Yeah, no. I was like, "Sure, yeah, I don't have to yeah, I don't have to see people? What? Yeah, that's
My
a bad
birthday's
thing?"
next week, and everyone's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Streaming." Why? Because like, what? Well, am I gonna go out for dinner? Sure, like, but I could just, like, play video games instead, and
Yeah.
I'd rather do that. Or, like, Halloween too. I'm like, "I'm gonna get dressed up for a picture and then immediately change back into my pajamas," and that's my life now. Like, things don't matter as you get
Yeah,
older. You're just like, "It's
yeah,
just another day in my life,"
yeah.
and you just look forward to the next, I don't know, project you have, which is, like, whatever keycaps you're making next. There you
Yeah.
go. There's your thing, you
Yeah,
know?
I think, like, I leave the house for well, currently in and out and, like, traveling, and then the rest of the time, I'm just like, I will just hunker down and do my thing, and I like it. Like, I love working and, yeah, I already worked from home because I was already working, like, for myself when the pandemic started, so when people are always like, "Yeah, working from home is so different," and stuff, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I've been doing this. Like,
I
I've
was
been
working
prepared
from
for
home
this."
for years, and I was over it, though. Like, I was working from home before I was at EG, I was at Microsoft as like, a recruiting it was weird. I had the weirdest job. I just basically audited recruiters.
Mhm.
I was basically their managers, but made, like, far less money than they did. It was great, but advantage of that by, like, going overseas because it's like my job was, like, I kinda all I had to do was check my emails throughout the day, so I back in 2019, I told my boss I was gonna take a 10-day trip to Japan and ended up being in Asia for, like, 3 months. And then randomly she messaged me. I left first week of September. She messaged me at the end of October and she goes, "You've been working some really odd hours lately. I saw you send an email at 4:30 in the morning." I was like, "Yeah, I'm not in the US." She was like, "Where are you?" I was like, "In Asia." She's like, "I thought you came home."
You're like, "No."
Like, 7 weeks ago. I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm still here." And so,
Oh.
like so, like, every day I would get up at 7 AM, work 4 hours, spend the whole day doing stuff, then work 4 hours again in the afternoon, then work at night, and then go out at night. Did not sleep at all, and it was great because it was like if you're working from home, it was a great way to take advantage of that.
Mhm.
And then the pandemic started, and we couldn't leave the house, and I was like, oh, now I actually have to work from home, and I hate
Yeah.
it. And like, I'm already like, it's like it was so funny being like, working on my
Yeah.
laptop, and then ending my work at like 5 p.m. I'd be like, okay, work's done, and I just
Mhm.
go to the next room. Like that
Yeah.
was just I would just move on to the other room. I'm like, I
Yeah.
guess this room is done for the day. So, but
Like
I
the
wasn't
novelty of already
right.
wore off by the time you needed to do it, or like that it was appropriate for everyone to do it. Like you were like, I've already taken advantage of this lifestyle a long time ago. Like you
Except for it's
already.
me like on my computer working, and then there's a TV right here, and I'm playing video games and pausing anime. Then like I'm like I beat Persona 5 by working from home is what I did. I was gonna ask though, you opened up a store.
I did. It is a physical shop in downtown San Jose.
Oh my
Again, if you're ever
god,
in the Bay Area.
everyone, like, are we allowed to have that address? Like, are we allowed to
Oh
like
yeah.
do you spam that? Like anyone who lives in San Jose, you guys definitely need to go check out the shop because it's so cool. Oh my gosh.
I don't know
Not
if
to
I
dox your
not
shop,
to dox
but
my stuff. Actually, someone made a TikTok of it like not too long ago, maybe like a month ago or so, and it like crazy, like a lot of people flocked to the shop because of that TikTok, which was not like insane to me because I know the power of TikTok always like anytime they have a product, it always sells out or like they like take down websites because they can't handle the traffic that TikTok brings them. But I just like didn't imagine it would be like that much more, but it was kind of insane. Like it, I think quadrupled our sales in like I don't know, a weekend. Thank you. Thanks, Pickle. But yeah, that's the address. It's like downtown, and it is a small. It's like one of four. They're like kind of like not artist shops, but small like mm, smaller retail shops that are like owned by this bigger org that kind of does a lot of this like art fairs and stuff to promote artists. And so there's like a plant shop next door. There's one that does like
it's
jewelry.
like a permanent pop-up shop, basically.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we have the space for like I don't know up to 2 years or something like that. So a lot more permanent than just like a couple months, but it's kind of like a we'll take it as we go kind of thing. And it's a generic keyboard shop, so it's not just my stuff. I actually don't even think I sell any of. Well, I sell like my pins and some of the merch that I like make, but I don't actually sell my keycaps there. Not yet. I'm still working on that. But it's like if you want to, for me, it's more like I really wanted this to be a thing in the hobby when I was kind of starting out, or I wish this was a thing in general because I think a lot of people would benefit from it. Like if
Hey,
you
you
don't
set
know
the
where to start.
trends.
Yeah. So I was like,
Yep.
this would be cool to see. And I just like had the opportunity to open a shop and I was like, sure, why not? Like, let's do it. And it's been a lot of work in like kind of setting it up and I had to hire people and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, how do I had to do
Do
interviews and
you
I was
like
like, yeah.
keyboards? Do you know how to use a register? Are you
Yeah, it was just kind
nice?
of like sanity checking people or something. Like I just like I was like and I feel like everyone I interviewed was like qualified. It was just a matter of like who was the most available at the very end of it. It was like obviously I just hired people who were like could be available for all the times, and then that way it was easier to do for scheduling. But everyone was like, I love keyboards. I would love to talk about people with keyboards. And I was like, great, that's literally like the only like the bare minimum for this. And everyone, was really excited about keyboards. Yeah, that's opened for maybe 2 months now. And we're constantly trying to like figure out how to make it like a little bit better because there's a lot like going on in the store because like we just have a lot of keyboard parts and then you can pick all the parts and then build. You can
Wait,
either
you can
have
like
us build it.
you can like build your own
Yeah, so it's like a build your
I
own
wanna
keyboard
go there
shop.
now.
They like we sell all the parts separately, so like there's key sets, like
EG,
switches.
fly us all to go to her shop.
It's so small. Can we even all fit in there? I don't know. Yeah, mouse
Tiny
pads.
shop.
There's like it's called the Tiny Keyboard Store. And so it was just like I think it's really like for me to see like for the community for it to exist and for maybe other people to want to open stores like that because I just think it's just one of those things. I don't know if you've seen all those videos where like people type in stuff and you're like, I want a keyboard like that, but you don't know how it feels or sounds exactly unless you try it out in
Yeah, like,
person.
you just go online, you're like, "I'm gonna order a custom keyboard," and then end up not being happy with it.
Exactly, and the process is really kind of, like, not a great user experience for a lot of newcomers because 'cause they're like you go in the hobby and there's just so much. There's, like, a gazillion different switches, like, tons of different, like, vendors who make, like, keycaps, and it's like, you just wanna pick something out and, like, do it, but there's so much information, and then you can't even try it out before you get it. You, like, literally get all your parts, and then you have to, like you build it, and if you don't like it, then, it sucks for you. You have to go and, like, buy a new
Sucks
one
for
and
you,
try it all over.
bitch.
Yeah,
Can't
it's just
take
like
it
a
back.
terrible experience for, I think, a lot of new people, and
Like,
then,
"I
like
just don't like
yeah.
this letter Q." Well, you know what? Fuck it. You have to keep that letter Q, and I ain't getting you a new one, so
And, like, people don't even get their things at the same time online too. A lot of times you wait. There's just the hobby is notoriously known for, like, waiting months, years for, like, product to come. There's a company called GMK that, like now it's a little bit less popular because I feel like more companies came out because this took so long, but a GMK key set would cost, like, maybe, like, 100 something, 150 for this just the keycaps, and people would pay that money, and wait for 2 years. Like, that was how long the queue was. You
you're
wait
like,
for
"I might
2
not
years.
even have hands by then."
Like, who knows? We might be, like, in a apocalyptic world, like, I might not even be, like, around, like, it was just,
The
like,
alphabet might
insane.
be replaced by TikTok lingo. We don't know.
Yeah. So it was, like, kinda crazy, but, like, people would be willing to wait 2 years for a key set, just like or keyboard, and it's just, like, even just a part of it, and people are like, "Yeah, I'm building a keyboard, but it's gonna take, like, a year, basically, because you have to, like, account for all the different waiting times and stuff." So I was like, it'd be nice to have a shop where you have some stock and stuff, and you could just pick it up literally right there and there, and we've
Which
been
is
seeing
so
that.
that's so odd to me that something like that would take so long. It's not like
Mhm,
you're requesting a sculpture of something. Like, I feel
mhm.
like a keyboard is like, yeah, can you just have bins of different keys and I can just, like, choose them? Like, yeah, that's a very odd thing to be like, we have a red carpet event going on for these
Yeah.
keyboards, and you
Yeah, I
gotta
mean,
wait. You gotta get VIP passes just for this
I
special
mean,
keyboard.
it does feel really like that sometimes. It's like exclusive drops, like you have to get in on raffles. And this is like how a lot of people sell their keycaps, and it's how
Yeah.
I guess sell my keycaps. It's like it's something like it's kind of like the streetwear hobby. I'm not too into like sneaker drops. Like it's like there's a limited amount, so there's only like X amount of keycaps, and there's like way more people who want it. So there's like a raffle system. So you enter, like you fill out a Google form with your information, and then if you get picked, you are selected to buy the keycap. Like you win a chance to buy the keycap, and people are like sometimes like paying extra to like pay people aftermarket. Sometimes it's like hundreds of dollars for one keycap. Not specifically mine, but, like, other
Like, this
people's and stuff.
letter A is so
Yeah,
exclusive to
not
this.
that, but, like, the art like, the usually the artistic ones that are, like, sculpted and kinda, like, rare, and, like, people will pay, like, hundreds of dollars
I
for
need
one
a
keycap
Van
aftermarket.
Gogh keyboard, even though he's around. That's so wild to
Yeah,
me.
it's, like, kinda crazy, but that's how the hobby works, which is kind of insane. Like,
I
it
can't.
it it works on all those levels, like, even for keyboards, there's raffles and people who are selling them for, like, thousands of dollars because, like, aftermarket is so crazy, like, it's so hard to get your hands on one of these because only, like, 20 of them were made, and, like, thousands of people entered. People, like, have traded cars, I feel like, for, like, keyboards. It was just I've it's kinda crazy, and so I yeah, it kinda goes all over the place, and it's a
I
very
got
specific
one of
hobby,
the most
so
exclusive keyboards of all time, and then I gotta have someone over as, like, a date and be like, "This keyboard costs more than your life. I just want you to know that. Like, this is my
yeah.
new thing." That is so fascinating to me. I mean,
Yeah.
like, obviously, like, there's every hobby has, like,
Yeah.
its, exclusivity, and then
Mhm,
it's like
mhm.
but, like, for me, it's like, I didn't even know I'm so like, I never had a PC growing
Mhm.
up. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, we had, like, the old, like, you
Yeah.
know, yeah, old Mac, AOL, like,
Yeah.
dial-up internet thing, but, like, I never got into PC gaming or anything. Like, I always had a work laptop. Like, I
Mhm.
never had my first PC as, like, that I physically owned is this one right now, like, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, before that, I had, like, a work laptop, and I'd play, like, Undertale or whatever, Terraria on there. I couldn't play anything that had, like, real graphics.
Yeah.
And so, like, I didn't even know, like, custom keyboards and, like, monitors and all sorts of things were, like when I built my PC, I was like, I bought the actual tower and was like, "This thing's empty?" Like, yeah.
Like, it doesn't come with all the stuff inside, and you have to put it in, and you have to, like,
Why
reorganize it
why
yourself.
doesn't it weigh 100 pounds? Like, why isn't there 30,000 wires and chips in here? Because I hadn't seen a PC since I was like 12 years old.
Right.
Like, this whole world to me is like so new and fascinating that I was like, huh, like that's so fucking crazy. Well, now I want to go to your store and get a custom keyboard.
Yeah,
I
you
need
should.
to now. I need all banana keys. I'm gonna literally commission you for, but do you make like the actual boards too?
No, but I have like I can probably like get something like custom colored for you. Like if you want it just to be yellow and that board doesn't come in yellow or for some reason, you can just get it like you can bring it to a shop and have it like powder coated or whatever, Cerakoted.
Shop right now. I hope you know that. Like, just like at the end of the stream, I was like, well, I just commissioned a really expensive banana keyboard. It's scented. When you smell it, it smells like banana.
You could probably actually get a banana like shaped keyboard, but it might cost a lot of money. But you could also get a cheap one made like probably like 3D printed. Not 3D printed, but like acrylic cut. Definitely banana shape. I actually saw like a banana, but it wasn't like a proper keyboard. It was literally like a 3D printed banana. So it literally looks like a banana. And it was just like a row of keys, like just
there
one.
is definitely a banana shaped keyboard out there,
Yeah.
and no one needs to send it to me. That's all I have to say.
There
I
is
would probably buy it.
There is actually most definitely something like that. There's actually
I do like the giant one you made.
The giant
keyboard.
Oh, I didn't make that actually.
You didn't make
nothing of that is like mine. I just
that was
think
the one at
thing.
TwitchCon though, right?
Yeah. I just bought that, so but it's just like I just know that it existed. Actually, I didn't even buy it.
Like an Andre the Giant keyboard. Like
somebody bought it for me and sent it to me, and then now everybody's like, "Oh my god, that giant keyboard is so cool! I want it." But and someone
don't send me this keyboard. But now I need to look at it because if there's a banana shaped keyboard, I hate the ergonomic shaped keyboards that like go to the side. Yeah, it's weird.
It's like, actually very comfortable. And probably will help.
Get carpal tunnel like the rest of us. Okay,
probably help in our old age. You know,
we know you're a millennial if you have IBS or carpal tunnel, like overworking and not eating good. That's how you know. That's so crazy with me. Well, now, like, I meant to ask this question a long time ago, because Taylor has been talking about you, our wonderful boss who's in the chat today. Shout out to Taylor. She's been talking about you for months, like before you were like with EG, and she was just like, "Oh my god, her stuff is amazing." How did that whole happen? Like you with EG? Like how did that whole situation where you ended up with our wonderful crew happen? Like, is there a fun?
That's a good. I don't think there's a. Is there a story? I'm not sure if.
So just DM'd you and was like, "Hey, work for us."
I think Taylor talked to my management team because I think I was already, and I think they told me like, "Hey, someone's interested in signing you on as like a creator for like a team," and I was like, "Oh, what?" And
esports keyboards, let's go.
Yeah, I was like, it was just one of those things. I'm like, I'm like an artist, you know. I play games, but not like in any sort of
you do now
way. But then I was like, I think it's a cool. I just thought it was cool because I was like, I definitely could see a lot more like, just like I can make content. I have, you know, the resources, and also like you don't really see, keyboard content creators aren't. By any means, like very
to begin with are not like I said, I had a friend who's I have a lot of friends that work in like Crown Channel, Prime Gaming. They always ask me like, do you know any like streamers that do things that aren't like, you know, like video games? And I'm like, I have like, you know, a friend that makes plushies, and you know, I have art friends, but like and I have a friend that makes puppets who now is part of their channel. Yeah, it's really cool. She makes all sorts of puppets. But it's like, like any kind of like really, really niche thing I think is really important to like content creation to begin with, because everything is kind of like the same, which no offense to myself. Like I'm lucky that I have like stand-up comedy and this, because I don't know a lot of comedians that do streaming. So I've always had like that advantage.
Yeah.
Doing both. But like besides that, like everything's kind of like the same. That's why you have to like branch out and do things. Like I want to start doing cooking streams and like Gundams and stuff like that, because I'm like, yeah, you know, gaming's fun, but it's like you're always wanting to chase something new. And so having your specific, like, I shouldn't even say your hobby, but your specific like craft is like so important to content creation, because it's like people don't really realize how like me asking all these questions being like, I didn't know that Like, I've always wanted a new keyboard and a custom
Yeah.
one, but I don't know how to start and, like, where
Mhm.
to go, and I know me, and I want something ridiculous, or I want
Yeah.
something that's, like, gonna stick out, so, like, having you on our team, I'm like, "Yes, absolutely."
Yeah,
Just
and it actually,
somebody
like, makes sense too, like, you're like, keyboard, gaming, like, that there's a correlation there, right? Like, people use, obviously, keyboards to play video games most of the time, I guess you can use controllers, but it's like, at least it's, like, somewhat related in a
you need
terms
a
of,
type
like, our sense.
on the computer. So,
Sorry,
yes.
what was that? Yeah, you need to type to be yeah,
Password to get onto OBS, so, yes, like,
exactly.
there you go,
Yeah.
you need a keyboard. But yeah, so it's like oh god, I'm so excited. I'm gonna come up with so many crazy ideas, and then Taylor's gonna be like, "Lisa, she can't make keycaps on this. She can't make key." I'm
No, no,
like,
no, send me crazy ideas. I feel like that's, like, the thing that I wanna be, like, known
"Scented
for.
keycaps, let's go."
That's like I was like, scratch and sniff keycaps could be a thing because you're literally touching your keycaps, and I think I looked into that and people are
You
like
smell your fingers. That's all,
or
girl.
like
Sorry, guys. I just my fingers smell like banana now. So
like, scratch and sniff, right? And I think, like, crazy is always or not even crazy, but sometimes my ideas are just I wouldn't say crazy or dumb, but there's, like, silly or, like, they just don't really make sense, and I'm all for that, like, obviously, you've seen a lot of my stuff, and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care if you can't use your keyboard, I'm just making cool shit." Like, that's just what I wanna do, I just wanna make cool shit, and if it's, like
yeah,
if it makes people laugh or they're, like, amused by it or entertained in any sort of way, I'm like, "Yeah, I've done my job, that's all I'm here to do." Like, I'm not here to be like, "Let me make you the most perfect looking thing," and, like, like, I just wanna have fun with it, and so if you have crazy ideas, let me know because that is, like I I think I like to think about all the crazy stuff you could do, and then sometimes it takes a long time to, like, get
I'm
to the
curious
point of making it.
how you would even make a scratch and sniff keycap. Like,
Mm.
do you know how to make scratch and sniff stuff? Like, I'm very because I
No.
wanna make something now.
I feel like there's
Honest.
probably a YouTube video on how to do that, though. Like, there's an outer layer that is, like, kind of, like, not permanent that you can, like, scratch off, and the layer under it, you can make it scented somehow, so when you scratch it I don't know. I'm literally just, like I feel like there's
Colin, we're gonna invent a new we're gonna monetize this somehow. Scented keyboard caps, and so instead of
scented.
Cheeto fingers, it smells like
It's
cherries. Like,
it's or smells like Cheetos, so then
yeah, you can just instead of Cheeto dust, it's Cheeto scented, you know? To see because it's like yes, you can get a bunch of like I'm insulting myself. Like yes, you can get like any streamer who plays video games like to make movie content, but to have like anything that's craft theme, like that is
Yeah.
so like that's the stuff I would look for, you
Mhm,
know. Like
mhm,
I love watching like it's so funny. I was super into podcast obviously from like doing comedy and like I'm not a big reader. I'm a very audio visual learner. Like I like
mhm,
audiobooks and audiobooks turned to podcasts for me. And then I would listen to podcasts every day working from home for years and I just kind of got bored of them after a while. So I just started because it was like, ugh, I got to like be actively listening to what they're talking about. Like it's not very passive and it's
mhm.
hard to concentrate on work. And so I started watching streamers because streaming is like, oh, like
Yeah,
I don't have like they're just reacting to something. Like I
yeah,
don't have to actively like be listening. And then
mhm.
as I kept getting more into that, I'm like, well, now I need to crave something new. It's like my gateway drug was audiobooks. And now like, I love watching like streamers play like my favorite video games. Like I
Mhm,
still
mhm,
love watching people react to my favorite video games. I love watching my friends. But as far as like watching content, like I love watching people like that's how I found my friend that makes puppets, is because I was like, it just randomly popped up on like recommended channels. I
mhm,
clicked on it and it was like, yeah, Crown Channel, which is based in Seattle. They just did a show where this girl was making puppets, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like in love with her content because it's like that stuff is like so specific. So it's like, yeah, I'm
mhm,
really
mhm.
excited to see like what we can do with this. Like, I want to start crafting shit. I have no talents in my hands. Like, like I always say that. Like, I'm really good at like if I have like a Gundam or a Lego build or a game I have to learn how to play, great. But as far as
Mhm.
like being creative, like I can't come up with good ideas for things like your Kirby with the mouth open and your hands fit. I'm like, that is genius, genius. I would have never thought of that, you know. And then you making videos where literally all you're making is like little corns and little
Yeah.
hot dogs for your mouth. I'm like, that is genius to me. I would have never thought of that because all of mine are just jokes and words coming out of my mouth. Like, So it's like finding like
Mm.
talents like that. It's like that inspires me to like want to make different types of content. So I'm very
Yeah,
excited.
you should just do like Lisa tries stuff and you just do.
Lisa tries to make it. I just cry half the movie. I'm like, now the resin's permanently stuck to my hand. I can't do I ate it. I don't know how it got in my mouth. It just ended up there. That is so fun. But I mean, like, I mean, is there anything specific that you would like want to do content wise? Like, I'm sure I mean, like, obviously, your TikTok stuff, you're like, this is me making something. This is something new I make. But is there any other types of things that you would want to do, like content wise?
Mm, I think I'm always open to it because I don't feel like I'm always going to be stuck, not stuck, but like I don't know if I will always enjoy doing kind of like making stuff or even crafting because I feel like if after you've done it for like if
There's
I do it
actually,
for like
I
10
mean, this
years.
actually ties into my next question that I have on my list of questions that I still haven't asked. We're already more than halfway to the show. Is
It's all
that
good.
like because you have the skill of like making keycaps, like are there other things that you make too? Because I know you do the oh my God, I love your my first tweet like I saw of yours was where you made the Kirby mouse pad and you're like, I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
think this through. It's just like
Yeah, that was
it looks like his feet are like nipples on the
yeah.
beach. Like, and I know you do the mouse pad, and I love your mouse pads because I was
Mhm.
trying
Like
one.
I do a little bit of design work, so I've made like pins and like stickers, like where I kind of like throw things together. I wouldn't even call myself like a designer by any means, but like I can kind of like figure things out. I feel like in that sense. And I feel like a lot of artists are in the same boat where we want to try a lot of different kinds of art and just do things and then we just end up buying the stuff for it and never end up doing it. I don't know if I feel like this is very common among artists or creative people in general. They're just like you just have boxes of like hobby things that you never got around to doing. So I have a bunch of have you seen the rug tufting? It's also known as rug punching. It's like this I think the manual
You
way is
punch rugs?
it's not an actual punch, but it's like this well you end up using like this gun machine looking thing
Oh,
and it like pokes through and it like pulls it through the
rug and then
canvas.
set it and then it goes.
Yeah. That's called rug toughening or rug punching, but it's not as aggressive as it sounds. And I bought literally all the stuff for that. Like I have a gun and I have like a huge like wooden like canvas frame thing that I bought a bunch of the yarn, whatever is needed, and it's been sitting in my garage for like a year. Like I have not. Yeah, I'm
Let's
like
fucking pull it out.
I know, like I have all this other. I have like a miniature. I have sets of these miniature like they're just scenes that you like build. You like glue together and you like cut up and you like put together.
It's
And
the
they're all
one where they
sitting.
shave the rug at the end, right?
Yes, it's that one. They
That's
like
what
put like
see,
a
yeah,
glue
I've
on it.
seen those videos and I'm like,
Yeah,
that's so satisfying to me.
right. Like I just want to do it, but like I literally I could buy the stuff and I just don't have time to because it's always kind of like an extra thing. Like if I have extra time, I'll get around to it. I also have a bunch of this like needle felting. I don't know if you know that one either. There's a lot of
Yeah.
poking involved. It's like you just take wool, which is like loose, and then you like stab it with a needle, and it gets like firm over time. And you make these like little, I don't even know, like little statues that are really like fuzzy looking because they're little
Oh yeah. Like I've seen people
statues.
make like little voodoo dolls with like the cat
Yeah, like
hair.
yeah. Well, basically that idea, yes. But yeah, it's like I have all this stuff and I feel like if I had a secondary channel or if I just wanted to do other stuff, I would just originally I was like, I would just do tiny tries things or something. And I just like make random shit just to like try
Let's
it
do
out
it.
and
Let's
like
do it
just
together. We have one person who's good at this stuff and one person that doesn't know how to use her hands. Fucking like we could have like a honestly, like Taylor, are you listening? We could have like a competitive competition where we each try to make something and it's
but
just
we
me. We have the most basic thing and we get all the tools and I have to figure out how to use any of these tools.
it's like a normie versus someone who's
Honestly,
artist.
I need to give myself more credit because I end up being really clever about things. Like I just recently painted and I don't post any of this stuff, but like I'm always trying to find things I can do that doesn't require looking at a screen because I'm so addicted to screens. So I just recently painted a bunch of plant pots. And now I bought a wooden picture frame to paint it to go with
Ooh.
because I have so much art and I have nothing but black frames. So I'm gonna go back and paint all my frames. And I'm like, this might be the beginning of something, in my head. And
Yeah.
like I've also like when I was like really younger, like I used to like make clothes because I didn't have like a lot of money growing up. So like I'd have like a bunch of old t-shirts from like my parents and like band shirts and stuff, and I would just eventually like cut them up and sew them and make them into my own clothes. And I'm like, I miss that part of me, because then I just ended up getting addicted to video games. I'm like, well, now this is I can't apply this to anything else. And I can make cosplays too. I do like goofy cosplays sometimes, you know. But like, yeah, that would be a like, really fun idea for a series. And like I've seen like your molds, like the ones you do of like the food and stuff. Like it'd be really cool for you to make like just like little tiny like figurines and stuff.
Yeah. Like it's transferable in terms of like, I know how to make a keycap. I can make anything, not anything else, but a lot of other small things. Like I can figure out how to make jewelry or figure out how to do, I don't know, like
that's what I would love to do, is how to learn how to make jewelry, because I never wore. I feel like my life, like the whole way I present myself, really changed in my 30s. I never wore jewelry, and now I'm obsessed with jewelry. And then
like
I was
like rings or like
I never wore any jewelry. I had my ears pierced my whole life. Never wore earrings.
Wait, you just left it.
I had my ears pierced when I was in 4th grade. I took them out like a year later and never wore them. And so I just re-pierced my ear.
Okay, I was being like, didn't close up over.
I just did is I just stretched my ear and just poked it with a needle.
That sounds
I had both of my nostrils pierced, and the first time I had both of them when I was 19. And I took it out because I worked a job that wouldn't let me have both. But I did it myself when I was 19. I bought
like a needle, like with fire?
So I went to like one of those like feed places for cows and horses, a barn. I don't know. A pet store, but for farm animals, because horse tranquilizers use like these hollow needles. And I looked up online. I think it was Ask Jeeves back in 2007. And, you know, how do I pierce my own nose? And I found out you can use horse tranquilizer needles.
Oh my
so I
God.
literally went and bought one and pierced my own nose with it. And then you stick the ring through. I'm an idiot. But when I went to go get it redone earlier this year, they were like, whoever pierced your nose before did a really good job with the placement. I was like,
thank you.
I'll let her know.
Oh my God, I cannot even imagine.
Yeah, I wasn't a smart child, but that was my idea of like crafts.
No, we should put, I feel like this, okay, the other part of this idea could be like, what if it was, okay, normie, I guess would be you, and then someone who's artistic, who doesn't do that stuff specifically.
All my art is in my brain.
You have creative skills in writing. I don't have any of that. So you're just creative in a different way. But then we have like an expert in it too. Like somebody, like we find a cosplayer who actually does that for a living, or does it like...
I was going to say the cashier 100% knew I was doing, because I was decked out in all Hot Topic clothes. I did not look like I've ever been around a horse in my life. Just to answer your question. Yes, they definitely know. No, that would be amazing. But yeah, no, I always have ideas like for like, oh man, like I wish I could like draw or craft, because I have like ideas that I want out there. I just don't know how to do them. If anyone ever has me try to draw anything, actually a couple people in our live audience have this. For one of my sub goals, there was 3 people who won that I would mail them a handmade drawing from me, and I've been trying to practice drawing. I'm like, they're not going to even know what I'm drawing. Like that's how bad my penmanship.
Those are the best drawings, though.
My penmanship is like a child. I wish I had something to show you, but like I cannot like write like a normal human.
Oh,
like,
me neither. I literally cannot read my own handwriting sometimes. I scribble down stuff. I'm like, gotta remember this for later. And then I read it later. I'm like, what did I write? Why did I write it so messily?
Also, this is how I hold a pen. Like this. Like not a normal way. I don't know how to like hold
it like a normal like that.
Yeah. No, I like put all my fingers like I'm trying to like not let the pen escape my hand. Like that is how that'd be such a great, that is the point. That's the point. Yeah. Wait until I send you like a beautiful drawing that I made, that I stenciled from some anime book. No, that would be amazing for content. Like I've always wanted to do like I remember like kind of like an improv like craft type show. Like I've seen people do it with cooking. You know, like cooking shows would be like, you have an orange, balsamic vinegar, and flour, make something. And they're like I don't know what to make. Like that, but with crafting would be so
Yeah.
fun.
There's actually shows like that, but
I've seen them, but they're not us.
yeah, they're
So
not.
let's
And they're literally like hundreds, if not like thousands of people who apply to those, and you have to get like really, you have to, I don't know, have really big personality, or the producers have to like you a lot to be actually on the show. But it's, yeah, those, we should just make our own because that would just be easier.
yeah, we gotta do it. Or it's like all right, same thing with people who like do Legos, like make something with this Lego. I'm like, I made a wall with one blue brick in the middle. That is the most I could come up with.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, because, like, I had a friend, actually, some people might know her. Her name's Kelly Onelani. She's one of my favorite people in the world. We're both obsessed with the same anime character, which is Reagan. I don't know, do you watch anime? You said you're more, like,
Um,
cartoon
I
Western
do watch
cartoons?
some anime, but I feel like they're like really basic, like what do you call it? Like everybody kind of watches anime.
Eh,
Yeah.
I mean, it's still I mean, like, what do you watch?
Like I've watched I feel like my favorite that I can say right now is
It's a
like
safe space, don't worry.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay, but
That's
that's,
like an
like, an
old.
amazing anime.
It was, and then I did watch part of Naruto, but I totally actually didn't finish it because I was like, this is getting too much. Like there's, and
You
also
didn't
like
miss out, it got terrible.
there's like so much like history stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what is going on. And I also kind of like watching dubbed, and people, yes, will um flame me for that, but
Ugh.
I have very practical reasons because I work, like if I'm doing stuff in the garage with my hands,
You
I
can't
can't
watch things
watch.
with subtitles, right?
Exactly. So I just like pretty much only, not only, but if I'm watching stuff while I'm working, if I'm not eating, I will watch it dubbed just because it's easier. And I'm not like, yeah, I'm just like, I still know what's going on. So,
Not to get sidetracked from the Kelly conversation, because I have to address this. Like, I
mhm.
used to be one of those people who's like, I only watch Japanese. And then I started learning how to cook and clean and was like, wow, I can't get shit done. I'm gonna watch dub. No, so much dub is great, you
Yeah.
know? And
And
like
so like, yeah.
also, you didn't miss anything with Naruto. It ended terribly, and then they were like, "What if we just came up with a new show with a son that's even worse?" I'm like, "Okay, great idea. Let's just never end this fucking series." But Fullmetal Alchemist Brother, it's a classic. I've
Yeah.
seen hundreds of anime, FMAB is like still
Yeah.
really really high on my list. But
Yeah.
but no, I met my friend Kelly because we're both
Mhm.
obsessed with the same character, and she
Mhm.
makes plushies for a living. And
Mhm.
I asked her, like, "How did you get into plushie making?" She was like, "There was never characters that I wanted,
Yeah.
so I just started making them." I'm like,
Yeah.
"That is, to me, like, so amazing." Like, I
Yeah.
guess that's kind of how comedy works, like, there's not a lot of anime jokes, I'm gonna write them,
Yeah.
you know? But that's also, to me, just, like, not really that, like, cool. I just go up and be like, "Dubs are great," and everyone's like, "Ha, ha, ha," and I'm like, "Okay, have a good night." Like yeah, Boruto,
Yeah.
Burrito, whatever he names his kid.
Burrito.
Burrito.
No,
I
that's cool.
actually
Yeah, I think that, like, in general, a lot of creative stuff just comes out of people wanting to see something and, like, wanting, like, if you want something and you're like, "Oh, there's nothing in this space that I see that, like, fulfills this need or want of mine," and then you go and make the thing that fills that need, it's like there's a high likelihood that you weren't the only person that enjoys or wants to see that happen. And so, like, I mean, most people don't go out and do things and make things because it just takes a lot of time and effort. And so, like, yeah, just like going out and making that thing is like what helps a lot of people kind of break out into a scene because you're like, I haven't seen it done. So I'm just going to do it myself. And turns out, like, if I'm interested in stuff like this, there's probably other people who are also interested. So you already have like an audience that probably is interested in what you're doing.
and you don't even realize that. Like,
Yeah.
I when I talk to people about Twitch stuff
Yeah.
because like, you know, like I said, it's very generational. A lot of people my age. I mean, I don't know how old are you, but you said AIM, so I'm assuming we're the same age. Like, I'm a lot of people like our age aren't like they didn't understand it because we didn't really have that. I mean, I
Mhm.
remember in high school, I didn't even really watch like we had YouTube, but I didn't watch YouTubers. I watched
Yeah.
YouTube videos. I watched
Yeah.
like the GI Joe, like like the weird GI Joe like PSA videos or like Charlie the Unicorn. You know, like
True.
all
Yeah.
those yeah, all those
They're just
weird
like
fucking
one-off videos or like a series or something, but it's not like
He-Man
people.
singing Four Non-Blondes, like, you know, like that
Yeah.
stuff. Like, I wasn't into YouTubers, so it's very much like a generational thing unless you were already in that community. And so the best way I can explain like Twitch to like, I guess, older people and people who aren't familiar with this, I'm like, think of public access TV.
Mhm.
That's literally what it is.
Mhm.
It's just that the big focus is video games because that's the go-to typical content. But like you
Mhm.
can do anything on Twitch. Like
Right.
that's the beauty of it. And like sadly, like Twitch has kind of monopolized streaming. Same thing with YouTube. And so like there's obviously issues there. But in general, it's like something you want to do on fucking PBS or whatever local access you have on TV, you can just do on
Yeah.
Twitch now. Just think of
Yeah.
it like that's the best way to, and when you tell people that, it gives them the opportunity, like, oh my God, I can do anything that isn't video games. Because so many people have this idea that you only have to play video games on Twitch.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
absolutely not. I have so many friends that have podcasts and they're
Yeah.
like, we want to get more downloads, blah, blah. I'm like, why don't you just record it live?
Yeah, and have an audience.
Record it live, you have an audience, and then upload it on Spotify, and you don't have to, you could just have it live just to
Yeah.
have that extra thing. That's literally the best way of explaining it and telling people that. It's like, I've had so many friends being like, well, I want to start cooking, I want to start doing this. Like, you could fucking you can do just chatting while you're taking a shit on the toilet. As long as you don't
Yeah.
show anything below, you're fine. You can do anything. Like,
Yeah.
my cats are 90% of my streams. Two of them came in during this, but I was like, I'm working, go away. Like, like,
Yeah.
go feed yourself. You're fine, But
Yeah,
it
no.
is badger, badger, badger. Yeah, see, you got it, old YouTube vids. But also, like, so much stuff now because, Twitch and streaming in general has gotten so big, it comes all the way back to, like, the trend stuff where it's
Mhm.
like, so much stuff is, like, reactionary or, like, how we're talking about TikTok before the stream and how it's like you go on to TikTok and it's somebody reacting to someone else's TikTok or
Yeah.
someone else's TikTok split with someone else's TikTok. So having a creator like you that just kind of like sets the trend, a
Mhm.
lot of people ask me like, how did your TikTok blow up? And I shouldn't say blow up. I got 100,000 followers in like the month that I had it because I just posted stand-up clips. And I was like, that's because I'm posting stand-up clips. Like, and it just made the algorithm where they were just like, oh, this girl has a joke about her stoner parents. Great. This girl has jokes about anime. Great. But like, I
That
can't
does
make
count as
TikToks. Huh?
that does count as blowing up. I mean, I guess
Yeah, I got $7 from the
I
app.
mean, it's just like insane. Like you got insane growth and engagement and just
Shadow banned like a month later because I didn't post anything. Like, it was just
oh
like,
yeah.
here's my insane game. I
Yeah.
posted one video, it's like 10 views. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well, it was good while it lasted, But I do know, like, what sucks now with content creation, you probably know this too, is that there's such a pressure to constantly post.
Mhm.
Like, it's like Instagram, it's like after 30 days, you have to reset your reel, blah, blah, blah. You have
Yeah.
to keep posting stuff to make money. It's like sometimes I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to like chill.
Yeah.
But yeah, and and it's hard. Yeah.
And it's like free content. Like I don't think you like I feel like I get a lot of people who like demand stuff from me and I mean obviously they're just like typing things on their phone whatever. But it's like they're like, yeah, you should do this or do that. And it's like I mean, yes, so I do have a following and because of that following I can get brand deals. But you guys don't pay me like directly. It's not like I've spent like hours, I mean tens of thousands of hours making things for you guys to watch and none of you guys have like I would say 90%, 99%. You guys don't pay me. Like you get to enjoy my content. And by doing that, it does help me make money and, in other ways.
Yeah, like the views count, but it's like no one's sitting here and paying me to make this edit,
Yeah.
Like,
and like people just are so like, do this, like, why can't you do that? Or like, can't you, post more often? Where did you go? Like, it's
why can't you get a job? Like, leave me alone, like, why go attack another keyboard maker? Add to our drama,
I'm like, I'm just like tired, like I do this stuff and yeah, I get some money from other ways, but I literally can post a video and I'll get like nothing from it.
I made a big mistake with my most viral video on TikTok. I have a joke about how I found out my parents were huge partiers because we watched a video when it was my 5th birthday party. And I said in the video, I want to post this video one day because it's so funny. Like, and now everyone's like, post the video. And I'm like, here's the thing though, this was filmed in 1994 when everything was done on like a cassette tape. So if I post the video, I have to convert that to like a USB or a DVD. I have to pay a lot of money to
Yeah.
do that. And it
Yeah.
takes time because no one fucking offers those services. I can't
Right.
just take my cassette tape to Walgreens and say, here, put this on a DVD. Like you
Yeah.
have to get a special, like, or I could film it on my phone watching the TV. Like, and everyone just, anytime I post anything or talk on there,
They're
everyone's
like,
like, when
the
do you post a
video.
video? When do you post a video? I'm like, it's not gonna happen. Like, I'm sorry that I said that, but I wasn't expecting to get 6 million views off of a stupid joke. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes you post things and you don't realize that people are actually gonna pay attention to it. Like when I did my subathon and said I'd read One Piece on stream. Now everybody's like, when do you start reading One Piece? I'm like, that's 1,000 chapters, and I don't have time. You guys paid money for it, but these people on TikTok, they didn't pay me any money. You know,
Yeah.
like they're just demanding more content. It's like, go bug someone else. Go watch. Like at this point, I'm like, I'm tired. You know, like I
Yeah.
have things to do, and like it's the same thing with Instagram. And now Instagram will be like, you know, like post more reels. You can make more money. I'm like, bitch, I'm traveling. I'm busy. I'm making dinner. Post yourself making dinner. No one wants to see the curry that I made. Okay. They want stupid stand-up jokes. They don't care about my hobbies. You know, One Piece
Yeah.
is paid for. Shut up. I know. Yeah, it's just it is exhausting, but it is cool because it's like you said earlier, you know, like knock on wood, like I am blessed and we are lucky
Yeah, no,
that
I'm very
the not just the algorithm has recognized, you know, your stuff, just the fact that you are talented and able enough and like work hard enough to make that work, because there are a lot of people out there who try to do it and it doesn't work out, and it's tough
Yeah.
because it's very competitive. But I think your specific niche is very important, because it's like I'm sure if looking at your TikTok, I'll get suggestions for other keycap people, but I'd be like, I've already seen one. I don't need to see anymore, and this is the only one I like. So peace. You know, like
Yeah. I just like I feel like some of the stuff that I put out a lot of stuff and I just don't even sell it, and I feel like people they like see all this stuff and then they're like, oh, this is so cool, I love it, and they love seeing the content. And I've gotten people who are like, I like literally like they would say things like, your videos like got me through pandemic, and I was like, that's a lot. Like, I mean, like
Aw.
every day they would watch, or like, I mean, I posted a lot during, I think, like the lockdown period, but it would be like one every couple of days. And I did this whole food keyboard series, and people would be like, yeah, I remember those days. I would just like wait until you like made the next keycap, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't really feel like I had that much influence or anything. When people say that, I'm like, oh, that's crazy. And I mean, it's nice to hear, and it definitely is something that I feel like I don't take for granted, like being in this position where I can do stuff like that, and where I can like make silly keycaps and get like paid in other ways, but like get paid to do that and do that for a living. So like
That's so weird. Like, it is really nice when people are like, you know, your videos like help me. And it's like, yeah, there are some content creators and like streamers that I would like actively listen to and watch. And I'm like,
Mhm.
it was a good distraction when I realized I was, you know, perpetually indoors forever. But it also adds so much unwanted pressure onto the
Yeah.
content creator, where it's like, I'm happy, but like now I'm like scared.
Yeah, I'm like, if I stop posting, will you just like
Or
not want
will you
to?
still be here? Like,
Yeah,
will you
like,
still
are you?
like me? Like it's just like I think eventually like the burnout is gonna pop up, because right now like the huge thing is like you must grind
Yeah.
online
Yeah.
and stream all the time and post all the time and blah blah blah. But like I'm just like, nah. Which is so funny because we work in content creation, where it's like, yeah, like we
That's
should be actively making stuff, but like it is a thing where it's like there is quality over quantity, because I
Mhm.
do see like there are TikTokers I follow for like other things. Like there's one person that'll blow up for like some stupid video they did with like their dog or like their mom or
Mhm.
something. And then they're like, okay, now I have to post all the time. And it's like, well, now you're posting just stupid stuff and I don't like it anymore, because now you're just like wanting to constantly post,
Yeah.
and the reason I watched you in the first place is now gone.
Yeah.
Like the quantity isn't there, the quality isn't there anymore. It's just
Mhm.
you're just constantly posting things and like
Mhm.
vlogging or like having weird ideas, and like that's what I want to avoid. Like when
Mhm.
I post a lot of stand-up stuff that's like very like a work in progress, but I'm like, I think this is good enough for views, and it usually does really well. And then I get like, if I look up my name on TikTok, it's like men trying to laugh at women's comedy. Like, we get it. You
No.
hate women. Okay. Nothing I can say will
No.
change that. Whether my joke is about my parents or food, you're going to
Yeah.
hate me regardless. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the most toxic reactions to women doing anything. I remember I made a joke
I
a
can't believe that
long
happens. I'm actually no, I'm not surprised that that thing exists or that's a
Ugh.
thing, but I guess I didn't really like think about that specifically happening because I never post like much of my content is just my art, right? And I don't think a lot of people even like recognize my face because I don't. It's not
Well,
always
they do it in different ways with either like,
yeah.
how do you type with that? And it's just like, oh my God, just like grow up, go get the
I
therapy.
know,
I
but
don't know
like
what to
people reacting to your stuff, yeah, I was like, I don't know about yeah. People just like say weird stuff about my art, and I don't feel like I take it personally because it's just like it's art. Like you can have your own interpretation, but if people are like bashing on you for being well, I guess a woman that
something
is
I don't even like, I just ignore it. Like,
yeah,
like, it's not my job to change how they do things, but, like,
yeah.
I made a joke a long time ago and I posted it, and this is before TikTok. This is probably,
Mhm.
like, 2015. I posted a video of me telling an anime joke on Twitter, and someone responded, "This isn't very funny. You're not very funny for a female comic." And I said, "Sir, this is a TED Talk." Like, that was my response as a joke, and,
Yeah.
like, I was like, that to me was so funny, and then they ended up blocking me, and I was like, "But I thought that was funny because you thought like whatever." I don't have to explain it, but I don't know. The internet's just mean. I have very much have realized that the internet is ruthless, and no matter
Mhm.
someone will
No matter
always
what you do.
criticize,
Yes.
no matter what you do. Which I
Yeah.
think it does make it a little easier if you have the pressure to like constantly edit and post stuff that you're like, this isn't as good as the last thing. But it's like it doesn't matter whether
Yeah.
it's the best or not. Someone will criticize it regardless.
Yeah. Someone will find a reason to hate your stuff, and there's nothing you can do about that. Like there
It's
will
like that
always be people that
It's like
don't like
that really there's like a really old meme that I love where it's like, "That was really funny, but I don't like you, so I'm not gonna laugh." Like, that's just that it's just that meme now. The whole internet is just that
It's
meme in
true.
different forms. Do you do all your own editing?
Currently, yes. There were some videos that I think I did get like hire an editor for, but it was like very specific. Like I think I had an Apex clip, and I don't even think I ended up posting it. I actually don't think I posted it on TikTok, but it was like that giant keyboard, and I actually did a stream where I played Apex with it. It was
It's like the
just
size of you?
yeah, like it's huge, and like there was just a random clip where I like I just, shot somebody out of the sky, no big deal. But I had that edited because I don't do normal like gaming content. So I was like, I don't know how to, how people do like cool like screen shakes or like just because like I do everything I do is just
Yeah.
like, just my
Very
clean. Yeah.
YouTube-y. I have the term
Yeah.
YouTube-y. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah. There's a specific style. And so I hire someone to do that. But everything else I just record on my phone and I record on like I actually bought a phone to record with specifically. It doesn't even have like service or anything. It's just it's like the nice like
I need
13 Pro
that.
Max or something. And I just exclusively pretty much try to record only on that. I guess sometimes I use my phone if I forgot to bring it somewhere or something like that. But yeah, and then I edit on that and I export it. And then
That's a
I
good
have all
idea.
the apps there. Yeah. So, and it's expensible because I only use that phone for editing stuff. I mean, technically, I think you could probably also expense your own phone if you use it to edit stuff. But yeah. So, yeah, I just do it all myself. I just feel like there's a specific way that I do it that nobody else can, but I know that that's literally the job of editors to like mimic or kind of like find the style that
Yeah,
you
it's
like
like
and then
very
do that.
animated.
Yeah. So then I'm like, I could probably hire someone to do this. But then I also just I feel like I know my art the best and I know like they would literally have to go through like hours of like me crafting things and I'm like I know exactly when I did this thing because I recorded it so I know like I feel like I know how to do it the best but it also does take a long time. It's crazy how long a video can take when it's like for some 15-second video sometimes it
It can
takes
take
me hours
hours.
or days for me to like fully edit it and it's like hours of content that I have to sift through to get the exact like 15 seconds
Am
only.
I allowed to ask what programs you use for editing?
I think so. I don't.
'Cause
I used
I'm like, am I allowed it? Because I need a new editing one. I use like a cheap program. I just use like cheap apps on my phone where it's
I
like I added a subtitle, now I have to watch an ad.
oh, you should never have to do that. But I don't think I pay for it. But I used Video Leap at some point. I know they have a premium version as well, but they have a free version. And then CapCut, I think, is actually made by TikTok. So, or it's like the same company that made TikTok's made one called CapCut, and I use that one currently. And it doesn't. There's no ads, and I don't believe I paid for it. So, and I see a lot of like other people talking about how to like they have certain features like masking, and so you can like I see a lot of random like tutorial videos because I think I use it, and it's on my phone, so they know that I use it, so they'll send me these tutorial videos on how to do stuff. I mean, I use Final Cut Pro if I'm editing on my computer, but that's very, very, very rarely.
I gotta get on this this
Yeah.
trend of like the very like animated type stuff, because
Mhm,
otherwise
mhm.
I just post a clip and be like, hope you guys like it. like
It's like about like fast cuts and like just like it's hard because people just have such short attention spans, and you really have to like
yeah,
capitalize on the first 3 seconds of your
it is
video. And
the
like,
worst for stand up.
yeah, I feel like for you, it's like you have like a couple seconds for people to like be sort of interested in like what the punchline or what they expect the build up to be. And if you can't keep them on the hook for that build up, then it's like they just, yeah,
It has
it's
100% affected my stand-up and stand-up in general,
mhm,
because I've always wanted to be a storytelling comic.
mhm,
Like, a lot of my older jokes that I had, there's a build-up to it, which is like, I feel like if you're going to be on stage for 45 minutes, like, you shouldn't just have all zingers and tweets,
mhm.
you know? Like,
Yeah,
you can't Mitch Hedberg your entire set. But
right.
like I have noticed, I started doing stand up in 2014, and like back then it was like you just had to have like a video to send out to someone for whatever. And now everyone's like, "Do you have clips?" I'd
Mhm.
be like, "Sure." And they're like, "It's 3 minutes long. It's too long." What?
Right.
You got me want you to do 25 minutes? You think my 3-minute joke is too yeah, it's too
Yeah.
long. I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I noticed like I
Yeah,
legitimately write jokes specifically to post on
on a
TikTok and
TikTok.
Instagram, and
I mean,
God,
yeah.
does it makes me feel like a slut in a way. Like I just
Like you're putting out
like
your
that's not a
jokes.
good word to use, but you know what? Whatever, I can use that word. Like it is. Sometimes, like, even though I do think the things that I write are funny, I just don't think I'm writing them for myself as much.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm,
I do notice when I go to comedy shows, because a lot of comedy shows now they sell it to the comedians, like, you will get your set recorded. And
mhm.
because of that, we don't have to pay you as
Yeah.
much, or we have to pay you,
Oh,
which is like
interesting.
great. So I don't make money, but I get a free video. And for me, sometimes it's worth it because it is kind of a hassle to like bring a a
Like a
tripod and
tripod and you
record,
record.
and sometimes, like, you don't make any money in comedy. Like, I've
Mhm.
made like, I have asked people, "How much money do you think I make in comedy?" They're like, "I don't know, like $50." I'm like, "You are hilarious." Like, sometimes I'll leave a comedy show and they'll be like, "You get a free beer." I was like, "I get a free beer for this?" Like, like so for me, it's like, okay, if you're willing to record me, then I'll take, way less pay or no pay
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, because then I'll have like a clip, and like I will probably make money off that clip if it's good.
Mhm,
But I
mhm,
have noticed, like I started rewatching my old stand-up from, like, 2015, 16, when I used to record, my own sets, and not only were my jokes different, but I remember, like, I could not even the ones that were, like, so funny, I'm
mhm.
like, "I can't post this because it takes a minute and a half to get to the punchline."
Yeah.
And it sucks, like, the internet is very much, and I'm totally in the same boat. When I scroll on TikToks, I'm like, if it doesn't captivate me in the first 5 seconds, I'm gonna go past it.
Yeah.
So it's really, really a gamble doing stand-up, because it's like
Mhm,
so
mhm.
many of my jokes are just old tweets of mine
Right.
that did well. Like, "Oh, this tweet was funny.
Let me put it
I'm gonna say this on stage," and then it
yeah.
makes me realize how easy it is to be a comedian. Like, I'm just like, "Oh god, I'm literally just saying tweets out loud." But, like, it is interesting, because I'll go to shows where they, like, sell it to you, like, we'll record your set, and, like, watching comedians know that they'll get set recorded, you can just tell they
Mhm.
literally wrote their jokes, and their stage presence is
Yeah.
all for TikTok and
Yeah.
Instagram, and it's
Yeah.
so gross. Like, it's like, as an audience member, it's great because
Yeah.
you're watching a comedy show, but as a comedian, you can tell when
Yeah.
someone is doing, like, authentic comedy, or where they're like, I did one too, like,
Yeah.
totally, I was like, "Okay, this is a new joke, just please laugh," and, like, I posted that where, like, the clip at the beginning is them laughing at me saying that, and so it
Yeah.
looks like I said a funny joke going into
Yeah.
my joke, like, I'm clipping it so it looks like it's very funny when it's not,
Yeah.
it's just me telling you guys to laugh before I go into this joke. But yeah, it is very interesting, but it's tough too, because, like, it's really hard, like, writing punchlines and zingers is easy, but, like, it's not what I wanna do, and
Mhm,
then
mhm.
so it's like you have those people who are like, it's taking too long to get the punchline. And then there's people where it's like, oh, this 30-second clip's funny, but can you do more time than that? And it's like,
Yeah.
what do you want from me?
One or the other, right? Like people are asking just for like different things. Yeah.
I also have to caption my own stuff
Mhm.
because like the problem with auto captioning on that stuff is that it will like write out the punchline before I say it.
Mm.
Because like, like Instagram
Yeah.
autocap where like they'll
Yeah,
spell
yeah.
things wrong. And it's like, well, you don't want that. You don't want to be like
Wait,
saying something and then
can't you
the
edit that?
yeah,
Okay, in
right.
CapCut, you can scooch around the auto caption for you, and then you can edit those
Oh
auto
yeah,
captions.
I do
That's
my own
perfect.
cap.
Okay.
Like if you ever see some of my reels or stuff, like you can see that I definitely wrote it myself because sometimes
Okay,
I
no,
add
but
like
no, you just have the AI do it for you, and it has most of it, and then you just edit the stuff that isn't right, or you scooch it so that the punchline doesn't come first, and you and then it's a lot easier because it's
what's the name
actually
of this app?
it's called CapCut, but it's pretty accurate. I would say like 98% accurate, and then you can change the font of it. You can change like kind of where it cuts off. I mean, even in TikTok itself, you can change the cutoffs and stuff, but um timing wise, it gives you a little timeline so you can like pull it to
It's
later.
cat.
Yeah. CapCut. CapCut.
Fine doing it myself, but like you're right. Like even for like a basic 2-minute video, it takes hours to edit.
Hmm,
People don't
hmm.
realize how much like for you as an audience member, you're like it's really cool what they did, but it's like not only did I have to make that product, I also had to edit and film myself making that
Hmm.
product and add
Yeah.
sound effects and
Yeah.
cuts and
Yes.
music. Like yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard. I made a reel just like the only time I ever like made a reel that wasn't like a clip of something I did was I did like my first year at EG. I made a reel of like a bunch of clips throughout and it took me like 7 hours.
Yeah. No, sometimes it's like takes
Like,
forever, and
Jesus
you're
Christ.
literally it's like 30 seconds or 15
Like 2
seconds.
hours, but
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
no
And
money off it.
the hard part is that even cutting it down to like such a short time, because sometimes you're like, there's so much I want to show, or like it just
And then you
doesn't
want the music
fit.
to cut at the same
Mhm, mhm,
time. Like you don't
mhm.
want them like you can pick a really good song, but if it doesn't transition the way the
Yeah.
video does, you have to go back and edit it. Like it is. And it's like for me, it's just such a reason why like I haven't been switching to like YouTube as much or why
Mhm.
it took me so long to get TikTok is like it's like I already streamed for 4 hours. Like please just go
Yeah,
watch
you're
my
tired.
VOD. Oh, I don't want to go watch it on Twitch. I want to watch it on YouTube. Ugh.
It's hard to be a content creator or an artist nowadays because you're like, you have to learn how to edit or at least have a lot of money to throw at artists or like editors, because you can't just be a comedian. Like you have to be somebody who also knows how to or has somebody
Yeah.
to like edit your stuff or like to post your stuff on social media. Like as an artist, you can't just post cool pictures of things that you draw or make. Like, no, you can't do that. You have to learn how to market yourself in a video format and also spend lots of time like on the platform learning about the trends that are popular so that you can do a video like the popular trend. And then it just kind of sucks a lot of
And
enjoyment out
then
of people.
the even worse part that we don't even mention yet is people stealing your
Mm,
content.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
look at this wonderful keycap maker I found on TikTok.
Yes.
Fucking 5 million retweets, blah
Yeah.
blah blah views. Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know their name, or they'll cut. Oh, it's have reach out to Tiny. You posted the same video but got 10,000 retweets. Like it's just
Yeah.
like, and then same thing with artists. Like, oh, look at this amazing like Full Metal Alchemist art,
Yeah.
but they don't credit the artist. And it's just like that's another thing that people don't realize. And then people are like, what's the big deal about me reposting your stuff? It's like because I
Made
should
it,
be
that's
getting all
mine.
that engagement because I fucking made it, you
Yeah.
know?
Sorry.
Like another thing too is like it's the same thing with I totally forgot what I was gonna say because like I'm like my brain is melting from the word if I have to ever hear the word content algorithm one more time today. No, I'm just kidding. Like, yeah, it is very tough and like, but it's also a good thing too because like not a lot of people can do that.
Mhm,
Not a lot of people can like they get lucky and they succeed on one app and they don't have to like go on YouTube or Instagram, TikTok. And sometimes when they try, they don't do as well. Like I know a lot
mhm,
of comedians who are very, very successful, but then they try to do the reels and the TikToks and they can't do it because they're
mhm,
like, I
mhm.
don't know. Because I'm like, because your skill relies on being
Yeah,
your big
audience.
audience and like having those connections. Like I always tell people too, And I've gotten this so many times, especially from like older dudes that are just like, just tell me you hate women. That's all. Just say you hate women. You don't have to criticize me. We just need to know that you hate women. But they'll be like, like, do you miss working a real job? I had someone ask me that. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, doing like a real job. I'm like, explain this to me because I used to work midnights in a grocery store every day in a milk cooler stocking milk at 2 in the morning. Then I go to college the next day. I used to like fucking drive a forklift. I used to be a cashier. I've
Yeah.
done every job imaginable, and none of them were as stressful as working in content. You want to know why? Because I didn't have to show up to work in a good attitude and makeup and entertain people. I just had to go do my job and
Yeah.
leave. Like, oh my God, entertain my old manager that doesn't even like me. Like, it's like you have to put on. That's why it's so important to do like mental health checks with yourself
Mhm.
and give yourself breaks and blah blah, because however you're feeling and however you're doing health mentally, and probably know this emotionally, is going to reflect in your work. Like when
Exactly.
you start making keycaps that are like crying and they're like all emo, and be like, somebody should check up on Tiny. All of her keycaps are
Like
very
smushed,
sad. Like,
like broken, smashed into
right,
pieces. Like this is my art now.
like all your keycaps are just like AFI lyrics and they're like bleeding. And I'm like, oh no, someone needs to check up on Tiny. Her stuff is really sad. Like Kirby has gone emo.
Kirby has like hair that's covering its eyes.
I actually do miss driving a forklift. It's like one of my favorite things in the whole world. Okay. It was the funnest part, like, because you can go like a whole donut in them. They were fun. Okay. Just wanted to say that. Can't, but there's definitely grocery. If I was working in grocery right now, I would be making grocery TikToks.
There are people
Guarantee
who
it.
do that. If people like
Absolutely.
who work at Walmart and they dance in the aisles, and I've seen people who just like who are cashiers and I think they get people to do skits with them. I'm not actually sure how much of it is
Like, remember
actually.
flash mobs back in the day? I remember I was in a flash mob. Do you remember
I
those?
do remember flash mobs, and I thought it would
Yeah.
be cool to be in one, but I'm surprised you were in one. Did you learn
I
the whole
was in
dance?
one,
Was it a
and I
dance
just
one?
I just remembered this. For those who like weren't aware, but back in like the early 2000s, like right when like content like started to become a thing, people were really into flash mobs, and they had
Mhm.
them on Facebook. There was a Seattle flash mob group that I was in where they would tell you where the next one was. And I never wanted to do it, but I had friends that were really into it. And so we went to the Seattle Center and we all got involved in a flash mob, and it was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. I'm never doing it. I was like, I'm never doing this again. I hope this trend dies. Like that
Yeah.
was it. Like, yeah, like 200 people met up to Seattle Center, and then like
Uh-huh.
we're all walking around, and then randomly someone breaks out a dance and everyone joins. And like, I hate this High School Musical bullshit, but I will do it. Like that was the shit back in the day. No, if I was a grocery, like my favorite thing is like everyone knows me. Like I have legit diagnosed OCD. I am so clean. That's why I love the keyboard
Mhm.
stuff. Like I love cleaning and organization and like repetitive, and
Yeah.
like I just love consistency in my life, and like I would just honestly record myself stocking shit. My favorite shit to watch ever on
Restocking
TikTok
stuff.
is people doing auto detailing.
Oh. Oh,
Do you ever
oh, oh,
watch?
like, yeah, the mobile, Jessica Tran, I think was.
I love people like literally cleaning cars and
Mhm.
like
It's,
washing
like,
windows.
dirty, and it's, like, they scrub it.
I spent like $600 on a vacuum this year. Like I was like, I need a nice vacuum because I have three
Yeah.
cats. I have three litter boxes. Like I need something that's like I can clean. I have tons of cat hair everywhere. Like I am very clean. I bought a nice vacuum, and like my first time vacuuming, where my old vacuum wouldn't catch things, I watched my carpet change color, and I was like, this is the most satisfying thing I've ever seen in my life. Like that would be me making grocery TikTok. It's just like me like making shelves like and like
Yeah, like,
washing
oh,
old
I
milk off the ground in the cooler, like
know.
oh,
Someone
like
has to be doing that, I'm sure of it in
oh,
some way or form, and
absolutely guarantee. Was it Mike doing the flash mobs? No, this is definitely an ogre base to hang out with. Like the Seattle was very much into it. It was just like we need something that isn't sad and depressing. So flash mobs were like the
flash mobs
thing.
is
Like
funny shit.
I can't believe I remembered that. Like I can't believe the word flash mob popped in my head talking about content. Now I miss them. Now I want to watch people do it. I don't want to be in one. I just want to watch people do it. You
I liked
know?
watching the videos of them. Like, I feel like they were all like pranks or whatever, where people would freeze in place or whatever, and would just like, or like there would a flash mob breaking out that's like a husband or a fiance proposing to his girlfriend at like Disneyland or something, and like everyone joins in on the songs. And I like watching the reactions, but I'm like, I don't know what it'd be like to be there in person. Like, would you just? I
You
feel
would
like
just
I'd
be
be so
pissed off.
awkward.
You're like,
Yeah,
"I'm
I'm
in
like,
traffic.
yeah,
Get
I'm
the
like
fuck out of my way." Like, my friend
trying to
Mike
get somewhere.
that Cert brought up, I had one of my best friend in comedy, Mike Coletta. He's a hilarious comedian from Seattle. Does a lot of like Halo. He does a lot of nerdy stuff. We had an idea for like a really bad musical. Like, you know how like they have movies where it's like they break out in musicals. We were
Yeah.
driving to a gig and it was a 4-hour drive and we just randomly start singing songs really bad. I was like, that's the type of musical we should do. We would just be walking and I'd be like, "Oh, how long are we until we're at our destination?" I'd be like, "Oh, we're halfway there." And then we just start singing Bon Jovi together. I'm like, "That is the kind of musical I want to do." Where it's just really bad comedian covers of like
Yeah.
us doing karaoke songs. "Oh, we're halfway there."
I would totally watch that.
There you go. You can make keyboard caps of us doing that or something.
Yes, more content. Yeah.
I love how this conversation started. It's like, I don't want to do as much content to me being like, I have an idea for content.
We have so many ideas.
I love it though. I mean, it's just endless like opportunities too, which is
Mhm.
why it's like it's really cool. Like EG doing the whole creative collective. It's like there was obviously other esports teams that have done that too, you know, like because like that's how I heard about it. It was from other esports teams doing it and like
Mhm.
agencies kind of really banking on, hey, you know, like Twitch is a big platform. Like people get famous now. Like the people get like actual Hollywood famous now from TikTok, and that
Mhm.
shit blows my mind.
Mhm,
You
mhm,
know, like it's
mhm,
just
mhm.
like they're like celebrities were molded from having rich parents and going
Yeah.
to acting school, but now it's like you could just post a rant about like declawing cats, and a year later you're starring in Hollywood movies. You
Yeah.
know, like it's just
It's
that
crazy.
it's just so crazy. And so like I think it's really important for like, you know, all these like big talent agencies that are looking for new people. It's like go to the people who are making their own content. Like
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
that to me is more creative than somebody who's like actively like if I just go to 30,000 auditions every day, eventually one will work out. It's like, you know, show what you specifically have to offer the world, you know?
Yeah.
Like yours is
Just
keycaps, mine is having
writing.
fat jokes about my parents that are less than a minute and 30 seconds. Like
Um,
no, I know that I've dealt with my own form of imposter syndrome when I first like got this job and started like Twitch streaming and stuff because I was like, yeah, you know, like you know, at the beginning of last year actually, I was 31 and like living with my parents and like
mhm.
you know, I did the thing every parent wants to hear is when their daughter calls them 31-year-old daughter goes, "Hey, just want to let you know I quit my job and I'm moving back home." And they're like, "Why?" I'm like, "'Cause I don't wanna work there, and I don't have any money, so I need you to take care of me. Also, I'm streaming in your basement every night. Is that okay?" And they're like, "Okay." And then, of course, they're like, "Man, to work out from then." But because it was just like, you know, I had my own form of imposter syndrome where it's like everyone around me was like doing bigger and better things, and then I was
Mhm.
just like, "I think I'm just waiting for the thing to happen, and that's okay," you know? In
Yeah.
their haunted basement, it is very haunted. There has been multiple times where lights have shut off on our screen and nobody did it. It
No.
was I'm pretty sure
Oh.
it was my mom just messing with me, but still, it was terrifying because I was, like, playing horror games and all of a sudden,
The
all the
light.
lights just shut off and no one's home, so
That is scary. But you were in your parents' house, so
yeah,
maybe that gives you
my parents are cool. My mom came over today, you know, they hang out with me sometimes. They literally just come over because they wanna see my cats, they don't even care about me. Like, they live, like, 10 minutes from me, they're like, "I'm coming over to drop off your mail." I was like, "I come get it," like, "Oh, no, 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 we wanna come over," and then I walk in, like, "Where's your cats?"
Let's see them.
"They're hiding." "Okay, well, then I gotta go. Here's your mail, bye." And it's like, "Did you even wanna" I'm okay too, by the way. Did you I was meaning to ask this a long time ago, but we're running out of time. Did you grow up in the Bay Area or
No, I grew up in LA, so but I've been in California like my a good part of my life, or like growing up pretty much SoCal. And yeah, I went to college in SoCal too, and then came up here to work. So I'm like not an OG Bay Area person
Yeah,
thing.
but
Yeah.
it's so funny meeting people who grew up in LA. That's always
Mm.
blowing my mind because I go to LA and it's like I feel like nobody is from there. Everyone's like
Yeah.
moved there for work and they
Okay,
meet someone.
I lived in, like, suburban LA, not, like, LA, like, what
What
people
part of LA was it?
just, like, near, like, Pasadena, is that, like
Oh,
I don't know if
okay.
you know where that is. Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
like
I go to LA a lot. Like
yeah, it's, like, this 626 area, like, a lot of great food, a lot of Asians, a lot of,
my
like
best friend lives in San Gabriel, and so it's
yeah,
like all
the
the
San
good
Gabriel Valley.
Asian foods there, you
The great
know?
boba, like, you can get any kind of Asian food that you want, and they just have, like, really I feel like authentic, Asian food there. Great Korean food in K-Town. Like, there's some parts in, like, actual downtown that are, like, really good for certain foods too, but, yeah, it wasn't really my scene. I felt like it was everyone's just trying to do something and get
Hustle.
somewhere. Yeah.
Hustle culture.
Grind, hustle, like, just nobody wants to, like, be there just to, like, enjoy life.
Like,
They're
can I
just there
just
to do
be
something.
someone who lives here? Like, do I
Yeah.
have to, like, tell you what my career is in the first 5 minutes of our
Right, and you're
conversation?
probably in entertainment in some way or form, or, like, if you're in LA, that's probably what you're there for. So, yeah, I think Bay Area is similar too, but it's, like, kind of like a tech version of that, like, people are all it's kind of about, like, being in tech and, like, being, I don't know, at these
Like,
companies or
Seattle's like I grew up in Seattle in the '90s where it was, like, grungy, artsy, I loved it, and now it's like, I
Oh,
work at Amazon and
yeah,
or
you
Microsoft
saw
and or
it.
Boeing. It's
Yeah.
like,
One
great.
of them, yeah. Like, that's everybody here. Everybody works in tech in some way, or probably, and it's like a lot of people just yeah, that's why they're here,
I
unless
literally told someone I work for a company called Evil Geniuses, like, "What kind of tech is that?" Like, that was their reaction. I'm like, "Yeah, we make keyboard caps." No, but, like, yeah, it is crazy, like, I grew up here, I grew up in Kent, which is, like, 40 minutes south Seattle, and, like,
Mm,
I don't have a lot of high school I didn't have a lot of friends in high school, I have, like, a couple high school friends I talk to, most of my friends live in LA just from the nature of, like, doing comedy and, like, being in
mm,
gaming and stuff, so I go there a
yeah,
lot, which is ironic because 'cause I'm like, I should be here more often because this is where I live, but, like, the good thing about being good friends and still living in the hometown of your childhood friends is that you have friends in every single form of career. Like, I have a friend
yeah.
that does my facials, and I have a friend that does Botox, hair, real estate. Like, it's like you make friends with every type of person. Like, I've learned so much.
There's so
Like,
many resources.
right? In LA, it's like we're all struggling to make money in comedy and or
Yeah,
acting and or content creation, and we
yeah,
pay way too much for rent. And I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
I'm good. I'll just stay here and in good old King County. That is now getting really expensive. But no, that's really cool. At least you didn't have to move too far though.
yeah, yeah,
You
I like
know?
staying in general, I probably would stay in California just because I like the weather. I think if I feel like I already get, like, seasonal not just like I get sad in the wintertime just because it's, like, always colder and the sun just, like, is only out for, like, 5 hours, and by the time I get out of bed and, like, starting to work, it's, like, I already sun is already going away, and then it's just cold it's so cold to, like, get out of bed, and I just really, like I feel like I do stuff when the sun's out, like, I don't care. I'm not even outside, I just
I don't do anything. I'm like, great, be
yeah.
cold. I don't have to leave. But yeah, I get like it was too hot a weekend ago, and I was like, I need seasonal depression to come back. Like this is but
But
yeah.
I was like the gloominess, like, I like visiting, but I don't think if I lived there during the winter, I would probably just die. I don't know, I
It
would
is
just
sad if it doesn't snow. Like, if we when we
if
have
it
snow
doesn't snow.
if it snows, it's great because it's beautiful. Because like,
Mm,
"Oh, the snow," and, like, we don't get, like, the snow that's, like, destroying roads and people are getting like,
yeah,
you can still, like, live your life
yeah.
comfortably and have a heater, but, like yeah, no, I totally get that. Like, I have lots of friends that are sun worshipers, and then October comes, they're like, "I miss rain." I'm like yeah, it is I mean, if you're incredibly indoors, it's not a huge deal, but, like, yeah, I've been here my whole life. That's why I
Mhm,
travel a lot because it's like, I can't be here all the time, you
yeah,
know? You
yeah.
know? I just traveled way too much though, so now I'm like, "Please do not let me go on any more trips." At
Let me,
least.
like, just, like, hibernate for, a month or so, 2 months.
Exactly. Well, we are getting closed on time, but I just wanna say, like, see, this is why I'm like, just a
Yeah,
whole casual I still had interview questions for you, but you know what? I'll get to
it's
know
all
you
good.
while we work together, which is really awesome.
Yeah,
So everyone who joined, thank you so much for joining Lisa's Lair. This is one of the only shows here on the EG channel. So I really appreciate it if anyone wants to come back and watch. Like we will interview more EG creators, more people in the gaming industry, and then we always have wonderful Elysian Brewing. Yes, Space Dust IPA. So like shout out to Elysian, shout out to EG for providing this awesome show, and Tiny, congratulations for joining our amazing crew. We're
Yes,
so excited to have
I'm
you
so
here.
excited to be here.
I mean, we didn't get to hang out much when you were in town, but it was really cool to like get to meet in person, and we're
Mhm.
definitely gonna meet each other again and hang
Yeah.
out and do more fun stuff. And I'm very wanting to have you build a banana keyboard for me, or maybe just a couple
Yes.
little baby banana keycap, just something cute, you know.
Okay. For
But,
sure. Hit me up.
yeah, everyone should definitely follow Tiny on TikTok, Instagram, Twitch. Her content is incredible, and your stuff is so cute. I love it. I love it
Oh,
so much. So
thank
please
you.
check out Tiny, and also, I mean, yeah, follow me too. I guess like
No, go follow Lisa.
I don't make cool stuff, but sometimes I write something funny, and like it gets like 5 likes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, we'll have another episode here in a couple weeks with probably a different new EG creator. And yeah, thank you guys so much, and thank you so much, Tiny, for taking time out of your busy day to be with us. Bye, everyone.